Okay, he's locked in.
Whoa, dropping a hammer right out of the gate.
Perfect execution. Let's see what she's got right here. With bar spin on the second hip.
Oh, into first place. This could seriously be the winning run here.
What's he got?
To see a show here. Whoa, the amplitude.
Stomps it, so here we go. So clean.
Yeah. What an insane run. Welcome to Groningen, Netherlands, and the return of Red Bull District Ride. Sure, this may be one of the flattest cities in Europe, but we are in a nation where bikes outnumber the humans. We're in a city where 50% of the daily trips are done by bike, but today, the bicycles will not be relegated to the bike lane. Instead, they'll be flying through the sky in the city center and riding off the top of buildings. Matt Jones, my man, how excited are we to bring back Red Bull District Ride?
Dude, I am so gassed for this event, man. Some of my favorite and most memorable moments of slopestyle history have happened at Red Bull District Ride, and we're here at another venue with a brand new course, and this crowd, as we fill this area, has been wild so far.
And speaking of those memories over the past 21 years since Red Bull District Ride debuted all the way back in 2005, let's take a look at our screen right now. This is Paul Basagodia from 2005, Andrea Lacondighi. Some legendary names in the sport and some legendary moments that we will never forget have gone down in cities like Nuremberg, Germany, and Catania, Italy.
Wow, we've got that huge flip Superman seat one-hander, Nicholi. Wow, the flip tsunami. I remember that like it was yesterday.
Szymon Godziek, and I think one of the most exciting things about District Ride is the crowds we get in these cities.
Was that you, Cam?
It was, guilty as charged. I've got some good memories at this event as well. So, as with any new rendition of Red Bull District Ride, we've got a new and creative course. Let's take a look at what this course is looking like today, Matt. It's spread across 3 different districts.
3 districts, 3 different starts in one competition. Super unique, you know. The riders are going to have to start on the dual district, ready themselves for insane tricks, then the park district, and probably my favorite, and the crowd's favorite, is going to be the big air district, where we might even see some world's first tricks.
That's my favorite as well. We've been having such a great time watching practice the past few days, but now that we're moments away from starting finals and the crowd is trickling in, the energy is absolutely enhancing. So you see what our course looks like. Let's talk about what the format is going to be for today's competition. We've got 3 different districts instead of the past one entire course dropping from the top of the city to the bottom. The riders will be taking to all 3 of these districts, which makes it, you know, kind of a case of they have to ride 3 different competitions, which is going to put a spin on the strategies. 21 of the best riders in the world chosen from the overall rankings, with a couple wild cards sprinkled in there for good measure. 3 districts are the dual district, the park district, and the big air district. 6 women, we're gonna drop them in the park district for a run, the dual district for a run. We're gonna do the same for the men, and then we'll set our sights on the big air district. We have 5 judges. We're gonna take the high score and the low score, throw them out, average the rest out of a scale of 100 for each district. Of course, we'll then add up the scores from all 3 districts. The max score at the end of the day will be 300. The judges are judging on the standard criteria. They're looking for big tricks executed to perfection and ideally way high in the air, which that big air district will deliver. After run number 1, we will split our field in half. For the finals, we'll have 6 men, 3 women. They will ride the districts in order of dual, park, and big air. And we will be making history today. After 21 years and 7 events over the past 2 decades, somebody will make history. The only returning competitor we have out here is Nicholi Rogatkin. He's the only one who has the opportunity to take a second win in District Ride history. But we've been watching practice, Matt. Who do you have your money on?
I've been blown away by practice. The tricks on day 1 were already wild, but for me, Erik Fedko on the first day was winning practice. His style is so unique. His amplitude, the fluidity of his riding really complements these districts. I was so impressed. I think he double flipped. He's done some insane combos. He's got the windshield wiper stuff on lock. That was amazing.
Fair play. Erik Fedko, if this was a jam format, he would absolutely be the guy to beat. He's been riding more than anyone in practice, and he has such a varied bag of tricks. So smart money on Erik Fedko. I got you. I think that's pretty logical. If I had to put my money somewhere smart, oh, wow, he's riding on course right now.
Yeah, there he
Perfect timing. I would say a guy who rode District Ride in 2022, took 4th place, and then, you know, he's been on an upward trajectory since then. He was the 2024 world champion. I'm talking about David Godziek, a guy who's already taken a big win in Rotorua, New Zealand to start this season, and he's also done a world's first in practice. Will we see him do it in the run? That's the big question. So, Matt, you not only are you in the booth here with us and chatting through the event on the broadcast, but you brought your bike and you got out on the course. Let's take a look at how much fun you had on the course here the last couple days.
Yeah, bro, right, this is the dual district. Actually, there's probably more than 2 lines here where you can really separate yourself from the other riders. So we've got options, kind of hard difficulty if you want it. We've got a big wall ride, all the options to do a hit. Then there's 2 kickers at the end. There's more than 2 lines here, but that's why it's called the dual district. This is the park district. I love this. You drop in, you've got a spine, and then you have to get so much speed for that cannon that he's just done a front flip on. 360 on a step up, which is going to be great for tricks. And at the end, 2 hips and a quarter pipe option. So plenty of options, plenty of airtime, and you jump over the big air district. I love the way they've built this. I like this district. It's actually not very skate parky. You have to pedal really fast and you actually get fired out of a cannon. You're sprinting to clear this gap. It doesn't feel like a skate park at all. It feels massive. Believe it or not, this is the gateway to big air right here. When you come to one of the flattest towns on planet Earth and you want to build a slopestyle course, the only way to generate the speed, the height, is to climb to the top of a restaurant building. Like, honestly, this setting, this venue for big air is totally insane. So much history, such insane architecture, and then a massive blind drop. Here we are at the top of Red Bull District Ride, Big Air District. Massive drop, massive jump, and a quarter pipe at the end with options. And then at the end here, I love this. You've got quarter pipe to the right, quarter pipe to the left, wall ride option, and rumour has it, some riders might even jump up onto that sub box and trick back down. So as a finish area, I love this. No one knows what's going to happen until the very end.
So we've seen the course, we've talked about the format. You and I have picked some of our favorite riders to look out for today, but we also have a third member of our team. Pascal's hanging out at the Rider Lounge. I wonder if she's got any special guests for us. Pascal?
Hi everyone, this is Pascal Sabonares straight from the Athlete Zone, and yeah, I have the biggest company next to me, Nicholi Rogatkin. I have a fast question for you.
Okay.
How many times you have been at District Ride?
This is going to be my 4th District Ride. My first one was back in 2014, then 2017, 2022, and now we're here in Groningen, 4th time for me.
You have been already on the 1st position, also 2nd position. Can we expect you in the podium this year?
Well, you know, Pascal, I'm always shooting for the podium. This is a technical competition that's going to require a lot of strategy, so I'm going to try to be smart in the first run, try and make it into that final, and then if I make it to that final, of course I'm going to be shooting for a podium position, and of course shooting for a win in the best case, so let's see what happens.
Thank you so much, Nicholi. Can't wait for the event to begin, Cam.
Thanks, Pascal. Yeah, we're so excited as well. And that guy right there, Nicholi Rogatkin, he's got to be the ultimate Red Bull District Ride veteran, right, Matt? Competing in his 5th event, the only guy out there who's got a win under his belt. Do you remember when he landed that first ever 1440?
It was bonkers, man. I just couldn't, like, we had been barely touching on 1080s in mountain biking, and then Nicholi dropped in, did a world's first trick at District Ride, and I think he just loves that fuel. He's still got that fire in his belly, and we're in the belly of the beast here with this crowd, and no one feeds off the crowd like Nicholi Rogatkin.
No, and for that reason only right there, it could be his day today as he takes a run right behind right now. Also, not to mention, the first year that we debuted the women's category. Oh, you're in for a good show today. Let me tell you one thing, if only you could see behind the camera. Women's category debuting out here today, as well as a lot of young up-and-comers in the men's field. What do you say we take a look at our start list? Well, as you can see, a fully international field out here in the women's category. 3 Europeans, 2 from the Southern Hemisphere, and 1 North American rider as well. Some names that pop out for me there. Alma Wiggberg, a 2-time Red Bull Rampage winner. And the first rider we're gonna see dropping is Johanna Nussbaumer, who's actually ranked #1 in the world currently. And I know the energy in the city center right now is going to make these runs feel very different than they felt in practice.
Yeah, man, all 3 districts have just been such a treat to watch. I was lucky enough to ride all 3, and I cannot wait to see what these riders throw down.
So here, the youngster Johanna Nussbaumer will be popping the cork on today's competition. There's got to be an extra level of pressure that comes along with that.
Absolutely. You know what? It's so difficult to train for this event. It's so unique. No one has courses like this built off of roofs of houses, and she's dropping in for the first time in district ride history into the whale tail with a 360. Yes, I watched her go down on that in practice.
Oh.
A double bar spin out of the whale tail, up onto that wall ride. One of the ways of riding this, a straight air there, but building up for the final jump.
Oh, to pedals.
Unbelievable run. The women are really bringing every single trick now, you know, tail whips, bar spins, 360s, and that's just the first district. That's what's so exciting about this event. There's 1 district down, there's 2 more to go.
Starting things off in this dual district, and the riders chose random order out here, so it's pretty lucky for us to be able to see our world-ranked #1 rider going first and really setting the level. And I know for sure she's pushing herself here in this run. The fact that she got 2 feet to pedals perfectly on that tail up on the last jump, I know she's got to be happy with that run.
Yeah, that was super clean. I really like the double bar spin out of the whale tail, sort of kicking the back end out, making it look really stylish. And like I say, I watched her crash that 360 into the whale tail just this morning. So to get back up there and stomp it in her debut run, incredible.
And a little bit over-rotated as well, so you can see that she's pushing her limits. Definitely not a safety run out there. Now, we wait for the score from the judges. Interesting format, too. The riders looking at all 3 of these districts as basically their own competition. And we are trimming the field before second run, so there's not really any room to kind of go for a safety run. You kind of got to wager enough on the table because you'd really be kicking yourself if you did not make it into the finals.
Whoa, it's a big score.
There we go. The bar is set now. An 87 for Johanna.
Into first place.
An esteemed panel of judges out there comprised of former Red Bull district ride competitors. And now we take a look at the next rider in the start gate from Sweden, Alma Wiggberg, last year's world champion. She's won 4 diamond level slopestyle competitions, 2 of those being Red Bull Joyride, arguably the hardest slopestyle competition to win on the world circuit. This will be obviously her first district ride, with this being the first year we have a women's category. Here we go, Alma Wiggberg on course.
Into the whale tail with a backflip no-hander, no way! A suicide to bar spin out. This is tech and big progression right here. Carrying speed on the spine. What she got on the last jump, building speed. For a massive dip, nosed in 360. That whale tails, you know, big trick in, big trick out. The judges cannot ignore that. For the women's category, that's the best use of a whale tail I've ever seen.
No, I mean, both of them rolling the dice to start the competition. The fact that we have our top 2 ranked riders in the world after our random draw for start order, dropping in first and second, and there we go. A look back at that flip tuck no-hander. You know, she could have just played it safe and gone for a Sui here, but she adds that late bar mat.
Classic Swedish style. You know, the Swedes love skate parks, they love tech riding, but Alma was telling me she's actually way more into the big air. To see her take to a dual district with some technical options and drop massive tricks like that is amazing.
Yeah, so true. What's the score gonna be? Oh, wow. Alma rocket ships herself into the hot seat, a 92. The score for Alma Wiggberg in the dual district.
Super well deserved. No one's tricked into that wall ride or the spine after it yet, so there's still some stones on course left unturned. But I just can't believe what she did on the whale tail. That was incredible.
No, that was great. Keeping the ball rolling here, ranked number 3 in the world is going to be the American Shaylin Reno, the 2024 Slopestyle World Champion, which was the first year of Slopestyle on the World Tour. She won Christchurch in New Zealand earlier this year. Here she goes.
Tuck no hander on the step up there, looking into the crowd. A no-foot can on the step down. That's pretty unique. Again, jumping up on the hip, onto the wall ride, over the spine, carrying speed. Oh, a flip, almost looping out.
Matt.
Is she going to claim the manual lander? Was it deliberate?
She pulled so hard on that flip. Right away, it looks like, oh no, is she going for a double?
Dude, that was a sick run.
Alma loves the upright tricks. She loves the no-foot cans, the Supermans, the pendulums, so it's really cool to see her mixing it up, adding that rotation there on the final jump. A peek at our judges.
So one of the important things to note here is these first runs do count in the final, you know? So this score for these districts can take you all the way through to the podium. The scores are not scratched when we go into finals, which is important to note. So no one's going to be taking it steady here.
Yeah, so true. I mean, these runs matter because you don't want to miss the cutoff into finals, but also if you don't improve your run in the dual district in the finals, you can still sit on the score you had from run number 1, which for Shaylin Reno is going to be an 80.33, slotting her into 3rd place. So we've got that 5-point gap between Johanna and Alma. Alma distancing herself pretty efficiently there from Johanna. That's impressive. But the Kiwi, 2-time Red Bull Rampage champion, the first winner in women's slopestyle back in 2024. Robin Goomes on course.
Tire grab into the whale tail. Nice table on the way out. Riding the full suspension bike, which is going to suffer a bit more carrying speed on these tight transitions, but she's pedaling for the last jump. And a steez knack-knack. That was nice. Throwing some style in there.
For sure. I think if you're going to do a knack-knack on the last jump, it's obviously a lower level trick than what we've seen out of the first 3 riders. You have to get full extension, and that was a perfect knack-knack out of Robin.
Let's check out this replay then. Tire grab up. I mean, Robin, really at heart, I'd say, as a free ride, big jump rider. To see her kind of riding this tech line, a lot of tight transitions, cram jumps together. It's nice to see her link some tricks together.
Yeah, for sure. Robin thrives in the big mountain terrain of Red Bull Rampage, Natural Selection Tour, but she's also a legend in the sport of slopestyle, being the first woman to win a Crankworx slopestyle stop when they debuted a women's category a couple years ago. So it's great to have Robin out here. Let's see what the score will be. And we did get a nice look at that knack-knack. It was perfectly extended. So a 67 for Robin, putting her down there at the bottom of the leaderboard in 4th place. So 2 more riders left to go in the dual district. Next is going to be the Australian Harriet Burbidge-Smith, battling injury the past couple seasons. It is so delightful to have her back on tour and competing here in Groningen. Harriet Burbidge-Smith dropping in.
Let's see what she's got. A hard pedal down the roll in for a tuck no hander. Decent height up the step up there. Little shoebox on the step down. Again, opting to jump into that wall ride. Stylish tire grab on the spine. First trick we've seen on that from the women. And a nice no-foot can on the last jump, clean to pedals.
Yep. In the pre-show, we took a look at the judges' criteria. One of those categories was execution. And I can guarantee you she's going to be placing some pretty high marks in that execution category from that run. Maybe not the most technical tricks compared to the first couple riders we saw, but real good snap on things like the no-foot can. And when you watch her jump into the bowl, she had a lot of style on that as well.
I like that shoebox.
Yeah.
It's super unique. It's like a trick that gets forgotten, but when you see it, it's kind of like, whoa, I forgot about that one.
So popular the last couple years. And that no-foot can, you can tell when she just snaps those legs into extension. The judges are going to love that.
Such a process, this event, ticking off district by district, trying to build that score and grow that score, not throwing anything away.
mentally too, right? You can't just visualize one run. You have to be in the start tower 3 different times, visualizing 3 different runs. But one positive about that is you don't have to worry about repeating tricks across 3 districts. The judges said they're not going to be judging down if you repeat tricks as long as it's not in the same district. Well, there we go. Harriet has putting herself above Robin Goomes, slotting into 4th place with the 74.66.
That venue is cramped.
Oh, for sure. In practice, when the riders started to catch air and the fans, they were reacting with absolutely every backflip. And I was like, all right, that is going to elevate the level here today because the riders hear that and they feel it. Natalia Niechvec here out of Poland received the wild card from Burel Bike Fest in Slovakia. Sui out of the whale tail.
Yeah, tuck no-hander in and a different type of no-hander out with the suicide, opting for an X-up into the hip. The first rider we've seen trick that jump and a nice dip 360.
Nice.
It's a well put together run.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, good variety, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like you said earlier, Cam, the importance here is in so many slopestyle competitions with 10, 12 jumps, it gets a bit difficult when you're trying to build out a run to not repeat you know, rotations in the same direction, not repeat tricks, but here in these shorter, smaller districts, you can just drop hammers wherever you want.
Even just this first feature isolated here, she's got good complementary tricks. The tuck no-hander in, the suicide no-hander out, and then maybe she was lacking some rotation, but she checked that box, filled that gap there with a perfect 360 to finish things off.
Natalia's result first,
scoring that wild card spot from an event just a few weeks ago in Slovakia. You know, we only got 21 riders across the women's and the men's field, so it is an exclusive club, and you either earn your way in through your world ranking, which means all the events you went to last year and this year combined, or you got to go with more pressure and stomp a good run at a qualification event, a one-off event like Burel Bike Fest.
Judges taking their time here to figure out how to score that run.
I'll bet you they're thinking about that 360 down there because you had Robin in 5th, Harriet in 4th. Neither of them rotated the last jump.
4th place.
Yeah, there you go. Score coming in at 78.66, putting her right ahead of Harriet Burbidge-Smith into 4th place.
I think they'd have liked the X-up onto that hip, onto that wall ride. You know, nobody else tricking that.
Yeah, if there's a little bit of airtime that's left untricked, it's nice to be able to be the last rider to drop and see where the gaps are and try to fill them. So that is the entirety of our 6-rider women's field in the dual district, with Shaylin Reno in 3rd, Johanna Nussbaumer in 2nd, and Alma Wiggberg, the most decorated rider in our women's field, posting that 92, a full 5 points ahead of Nussbaumer. She will be the rider to beat as the entire field works their way over into the Park District. What do you think about this Park District, Matt?
The whole venue, the whole course, I'm in awe of. Like, that is a child's dream, riding off of buildings and hitting massive jumps. That's literally what you dream about, and they've built it. An insane playground, freestyle maneuvers, massive tricks. But this next district is really interesting. When I rode it, I understood it very differently to when I first saw it. The spine is so scary. You're up, you know, 7, 8 meters in the air with those vertical sides. I found that terrifying. But then you've got to pedal and get even more speed to jump the cannon. And then you have to kind of get rid of some speed for the step up. So what you see is just a line of jumps that fit together. Actually, managing speed is already a difficult component, and then you've got to compound that with massive tricks.
Yeah, it's really technical just to ride. You got to squeeze it for all it's worth in that spine to cannon, but then there's some braking at the bottom too, right?
Absolutely, though. So when I got here, I saw a step up. I thought, oh, look, there's this wooden step up. Let's have a look at the course.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, we're going in. Over the spine. Suicide off the cannon. That is a stretch to clear. Backflip on that step up, landing pretty deep, but getting rid of some speed. 4. Oh! Yes! An over-rotated 360 on a left hip. I mean, you're supposed to over-rotate a bit anyway, but she left that one hanging out.
Johanna with the major save there. I was worried she may be going down, but that was such a good save. It's supposed to be a 360. We're more like 420 territory right there.
Yeah, dude. All right, let's have a look. Over the spine. Again, you have to land that perfect just to have a chance to clear this gap. Jumping over the big air district with a suicide. So we got, you know, a technical extension trick, then a rotation, a smooth backflip, then another rotation, a 360.
I think tricking that cannon is going to be really crucial for success here in this district in the women's category. It's so hard to get speed for. Not only do you have to sprint up to it, before that you have to boost that spine, land high, and pump that transition. We talked earlier about our panel of judges being well accomplished themselves. We got Thomas Janan with his judging debut out here on the Diamond Series, an incredibly decorated rider, a Red Bull Joyride champion.
There we go, next score in, an 88 in the Park District. Add those two together for a 175. Let's see how that stands up in the rankings. Solid run for me.
There we go. The combined score now for Alma Wiggberg to try to beat now is a 175. Alma already had a 92 from the dual district.
So a solid run here is going to maintain first place, but it's looking a bit windy. Look at that elevator bringing in the next wave of riders to take to the Park District.
Yeah, wait till you see how they get to the top of the big air
Dropping
district.
in with no handrail over the spine. That was nice and lofty.
She'll have a lot of speed.
2 pedals there to clear this with a suicide no-hander. Decent extension.
Oh,
A 3 double bar spin on that step up. And a tuck no-hander to finish on the hip. That middle of the run with a double truck. Huge difficulty. Perfectly landed. What a run from Alma.
Major dice roll moment on that step-up jump. She could have played it safe and gone for a single bar spin on this truck driver, but here we go. I think she should surprise both of us here with the second bar.
Yeah, and it was super dipped, almost like off-axis flat spin. I totally agree. I was going to say the same. A single bar spin would have been enough, but she doesn't want to, you know, miss out on scoring massive points, because these districts are going to count all the way through to the end of the final.
She needs an 83 here, I believe, in order to move into the lead. She was a full 5 points ahead after the first district.
Quick maths, Cam. Here we go. Same score again.
My.
Double bubble with 92.
Queen consistent out here, Alma Wiggberg. A pair of 92s to kick off the day. Kind of ruling with an iron fist right now. As we see, Shaylin Reno warming up in the gate. She's so good at those upright trick combos, and I would say one feature that really gives some opportunity for Shaylin to do one of those tricks is that step up.
And the spine, no one's tricked it yet. First feature on course.
So much harder to trick a spine than a step-up jump.
Yeah, the importance on this one is landing perfect. If you land deep or case it, there's a chance you're going to throw the entire run away and not clear that cannon.
Whereas if you roll the dice on that step-up, you got to scrub speed for that next box jump anyways.
Anyway,
so
that's true.
The judges have to be weighing it pretty heavy if you do trick that spine.
It's scary, man. That thing's like on top of a building. It feels like a nightmare looking down onto the concrete.
Right? That's such an added level of intimidation. Just the spine itself, you see it right now. It's tall, but the fact that when you look to your peripheral, you are soaring in the sky above city center.
Here we go. Nice boost over that one, landing good. Looks like the speed's on. A tuck no-hander instead of a suicide from the other two women.
Oh!
Aspen on the step up, landing good. And a no-foot can.
Ooh, I'm excited to see a replay of that no-footed can, because we were so pulled back there. I'm trying to see if she went for the pendulum, which would be a no-footed can both directions. But I was surprised by the bar spin. We know her for her upright kind of freestyle motocross influenced tricks, but the bar spin is kind of a trick she's been adding to her repertoire more recently.
Bit more tech, more suited to the Park District.
Oh, her back tire almost landed before she got her bars.
Oh, you'd have been toast.
So Shaylin definitely being consistent through the first two districts right now. Love to see her stepping outside her comfort zone with that bar spin. The score in.
Double again. Match
No
in the first
way.
score. Yeah, run one of District 2. Scoring the same, so 80.33 again, totaling 160.66.
That is wild to see identical
third place.
scores. Yeah, I guess that is kind of a symptom of all the great practice sessions they've been able to have out here the past few days. I mean, they've got to be a bit fatigued coming into finals today as well. They've been riding like 7 hours a day on course.
Well, with so many districts and so many features to figure out, you have to ride so much. And let's not forget, for that big air district, you've got to walk up like an 11-story building. It's insane.
I was
proper thigh burn.
Yeah, so impressed by how some of the riders were just non-stop in practice. Has dropping in for her run on the Park District.
Over that spine, table, kind of one-hander, maybe reaching for a tie grab on the cannon. A beautiful tuck no-hander on the step-up and hitting the same left hip with a downside no for can, but getting pedals. I
thought she got a little bit sideways on that no-footed can, so a bit of a save there too, but another consistent run out of Has this time.
No, foot cans are pretty tech on a hip, you know, because you have to rotate a bit with the bike, and then when you take your feet off, you can't always control where it's heading.
No, you kind of have to lean into it, which makes it harder than just doing it on a straight jump.
That actually stressed me out, the way she traveled across the first spine. Like, that's how we're taught to ride spines. But when you're on the edge of a cliff, you don't want to travel too far.
No, there's a lot of a head game being played out on that spine right now because you're so high off of the ground level. So great consistency out of the entire women's field right now. The level of progression the past couple seasons after the women's field was introduced in 2024, it's just been so quick. There we go, the score coming in for Has in the Park District, a 73.66, so a little bit lower score in Park than she had in Dual, but still consistent enough to be playing ball.
I feel like these two districts, you know, Park and Dual, are fairly similar in the way they're built, the way the features work, but really it's the big air district that's going to set people apart, I think. That's a chance to go in hard and make a big impact on the score.
Full curveball in the big air district, but also really some riders are just going to be like, hey, that's where I can win this thing. So Natalia Niechvec out of Poland right now, kind of the up-and-comer and the wild card, and maybe the rider that, if you were a betting person, has some tricks in her back pocket for the big air district that can really shake things up.
Yeah, technically an underdog, being new on the tour and new on the scene, but actually, you know, it's those people where you haven't seen them compete on the big stage, where you don't know what they got up their sleeve.
But you know what she's capable of if you've looked at her Instagram. Huge tricks. So yeah, she's one of those riders, kind of super topical to what we're chatting about right now, that if she can make it through these two districts and get into that big air district.
Oh! Spine, that is going to do some damage.
Come on.
Suicide no-hander on the cannon. What we got up the step. Oh, unfortunately not getting a trick there, but that spine's going to be worth so many points.
Oh, yeah.
And a nice one-footed table on the final hip. I was not expecting a backflip rotation on the spine.
Oh, yeah. Here we are calling her an underdog, and she flips a feature that none of the other riders even dared to trick. I know she over-rotated this thing so much yesterday, and there was a bit of a mental hurdle to get over in order to try that flip again, but she greased it here with all the pressure on.
It's these unpredictable riders, you know, that you don't know what they're going to bring to the table. Flip on that's worth so many points. Unfortunately, not getting a trick on the step up is going to hurt, but I'd say the most impressive thing we've seen from all the women in these districts was probably the flip on the spine.
Ooh, I wonder how much the judges are going to dock her for the straight air. On the step up, that is kind of the jump that you saw the rest of the field do their biggest trick on, but Natalia flipped a feature that nobody even dared to trick, so how will that balance out? Look at that, an 85.33, basically the third highest score in the Park District, which skyrockets Natalia up into third place here after all 6 of our riders have taken a run in the first 2 districts, Matt.
Yeah, clearly giving an indication of what the judges are looking for. There's jumps out there that are easier to trick and people are doing hammers on, but it's the more difficult and scary ones like the spine that are getting rewarded.
Well, take a look at the rider at the top of the leaderboard right now, one of the most decorated riders in women's slopestyle. Alma Wiggberg leading the charge right now. Pascal is standing by with Alma. Pascal?
That's it. I'm here with Alma. She just hit the biggest trick I ever seen. That was a double truck driver. And this is insane. This is the first time we see women's competing here. How is for you to get prepared to actually affront this course and be full commitment on it?
I try to plan my training back home, riding different sport, getting a good variety, and then just trust it out here. It's been really fun.
Have you ever rode with so many fans looking at your run?
No, this is insane. It adds so much to the vibe having this.
Thank you so much, Alma. Can't wait for the boys now.
Pascal, thank you for that interview. It's so true. Those were great questions about how different it is to ride in front of such a big crowd, but also such an enthusiastic crowd. I know, Matt, both of us remember how much different this event feels compared to your typical slopestyle event because the people are so full of energy. I have no idea what that says.
We've just been told, yeah, apparently it says you're not allowed to ride on the big market. So, some protesters there.
No bikes. That's like the Whistler Village. Walk your bike, please. Walk your bike, please. Except for today. Jump your bike, please.
Look at this start list, stacked.
Oh my gosh, it's time to watch the men here take to the first two districts, and then we'll let the entire women's and men's field take to that big air district we've been talking about. But man, a packed field, a cast of characters here for the men, Matt.
Absolutely. We've already touched, before the show about Nicholi Rogatkin bringing the 1440 to here before. Obviously a new venue, new jumps, but I've seen in practice that big air jump is just going to be so exciting to watch.
Some names out there that jump out at me: Dane, Folpp, Jack, Fike, the up-and-coming youngsters. More on them later. First rider to drop will be one of my favorite mountain bikers of all time, Couderc. Please search his name on YouTube. You will not be disappointed. One of the most creative riders ever to throw a leg over a mountain bike, and it's so great to have him still competing in slopestyle competitions. Couderc.
So technically talented and gifted, so creative, like you said, Cam. And with creativity comes the ability to bring these districts to life. Pedaling in for the whale tail. What are we going to see for our first man on course? Oh, traveling, almost missing the whale tail landing with a 720. Backflip tail whip out. And with the first rider we're seeing going over that hip and into the big with a seat bounce backflip bar spin. Not just any backflip bar spin. He went up the takeoff, sat down, and let me tell you, that is unbelievably hard, and you need to go about twice as fast to clear the gap.
Leave it up to Couderc to think outside the box. He knows there's only a few features on these lines, and you need to separate yourself from the field some way, so he got so creative with that last trick. But first, let's break down the link in this whale tail. Look at how quickly he starts pedaling after landing this course.
Staring up into the sky and drifting across. And let me tell you, being that close to the side of that feature is going to be terrifying. But lands good enough. Oh, he puts a crank in there to get speed for a backflip tail whip. He's going to come in super nice and nosed in, making up for a slightly sloppy 720. I can't believe I'm even calling a 720 into a whale tail sloppy.
I know.
But that backflip bar spin, man, I want to see that from side on. I don't know if we'll get the shot, but seat bouncing jumps is the enemy. It's so difficult. We saw Paul do a seat bounce backflip in practice and then adding a bar spin. Super talented, super creative.
That
what
has
the
to be
judge is going to make of it.
One of the fastest runs from start tower to finish corral that we'll see all day as well. He was on the gas the whole way. That link in the whale tail, huge score. The seat bounce, backflip, adding the bar spin should really play to his favor. The score in now for Couderc, an 84.66. First rider of the day, setting the bar here in the dual district for the men.
Score. So Paul chose to just jump across the hip, okay, which is great. It gives loads of speed for that big kicker at the end. We've got the next rider here. I'll explain a bit more about the options in a bit.
Well, the Canadian, I talked about him just a minute ago. He's the youngster, 19 years of age, climbing the ranks in slopestyle competition. Look out for this kid. Here we go.
Dropping in for his first district ride with a massive 360 down whip into the well. A backflip triple bar spin. This is chaos. Up with a 3X, well, 270X up onto there and then spinning the other way on the spine and a 360 tail whip.
Wow. Wow.
Keeping his foot on the crank there, almost slipping the pedal, but making up for it with unbelievable variety in that run.
Was that an oppo threw up on the last jump too? Luckily we're gonna get an entire look back at this run, but
yeah,
3 bar spins.
Triple bar spin.
That's like some second run stuff. So there we go, spinning to the left on the 3 down whip in. Let's see, I believe he spins to the right on the 3 up on the last jump, which the judges will be taking note of for sure.
Was it oppo?
I think the 3 up on the last jump, I believe is oppo. Here we go, yep.
Oh, wow, well spotted, Cam. Got to do some homework.
Wow, and so with a 3 whip opposite, he's doing both the 360 and the tail up opposite. You can tell, a big fan of Emil Johansson.
True, yeah, we're doing the opposite rotations with the spin and the tail whip, super difficult. Oppo tail whips are tough enough. Putting it on top of an opposite 360 is insane. And when we talk about opposite, we're referencing which foot forward the rider rides. So everyone has a preference. Riders prefer to spin one way. It just feels more natural. Then when you run out of tricks in one direction, you start to look in the other direction to build points. And the judges really lean into that, you know. An 86 is awarded for that. So currently first place on the dual district.
There we go, slotting ahead of Paul Couderc's 84.66. The youngster leading the charge now. You gotta think that backflip triple bar spin and playing the opposite card helped him out with his score there in that run. But another youngster, 23 years of age, out of Canada, Liam Bayliss. Look out for him in the Big Air District too. Let's see what he has in the dual district. Oh!
Beautiful 3 down whip in, backflip, double bar spin out, so almost the same as we've just seen. 270 landing high, keeping good speed for a 360 toboggan. And again!
Oh, perfect.
And that was opposite.
Look at that, he's riding right foot forward.
Such a similar run. I mean, he went super high on the last jump. I really like the decade into the whale tail. Nice and nosed in, coming around quick, grabbing pedals.
Yeah, I mean, this whole new crop of talent, they've been watching the dominant riders of the past few years, and they're like, all right, we know this formula. We know how you win. We just need to learn all these opposite tricks.
So really interesting here.
Wow.
Yeah, spinning towards the front foot, which for 99% of riders is opposite. This is the feature we can see in the background that I love the most. I think there's 4 ways of riding that. You can jump onto the wall, you can jump onto the wall, off the wall into the landing, you can cut the whole corner jumping the hip, and I think Jake Atkinson later is going to surprise us with a 4th way of riding that.
I was going to say, wait until we see Jake Atkinson come into the course. It's always really one of the most exciting parts about Red Bull District Ride is seeing the riders from different backgrounds interpreting each district in their own way based on what type of riding they do most. Well, Liam Bayliss, you know, coming at this park, this dual district with a similar approach to Jack Fike, but Bayliss scoring an 80.33 going into 3rd right now. So behind Paul Couderc. So judges really liking the fact that Jack added that 3rd bar spin in that backflip out of the whale tail, I think.
Yeah, with, you know, they've only got so much air time, but some riders are able just to pack it full of tricks, full of combos. This is going to be wild.
Look out for this guy, currently ranked #1 in the world. David Godziek has a target on his back.
I cannot wait for this. Dropping in with a pedal to get speed for a front flip. Tuck no-hander into a cash roll. He's going to run out of space. Cash roll out. He's going over the hill with a double downside tail whip and into the big takeoff with a 360 suicide double bar spin. That was a mouthful, but I think I caught it all.
Man, that's a lot to pack into, like, I don't know, what, 10 seconds from drop in to finish?
My word.
Insane.
That cash roll stressed me out, you know? He was traveling across the landing with vertical sides.
Yeah,
he is an operator, man. Fitting all of those tricks together that just, it's delicious to watch all that get put together.
4 diamond slopestyle wins in his career. He's one of the riders who has competed in Red Bull District Ride. He had a 4th in 2022 and definitely could potentially be setting the bar right here with this run. I can't wait to see if it's going to score higher than an 86. Look at that. If that was a dirt jump, you're like, whatever, there's sides, but on a vertical wall that's elevated up off the ground, we both got a little stressed out on that one.
Yeah. So that hip, okay, it's obviously a much bigger jump than jumping onto the wall ride and riding the spine.
Oh, look at the score.
Oh, wow. A whopper. I mean, well deserved. You can't argue with those tricks.
6 points ahead of second place. Wow, David Godziek bringing it to another level right there. He's got the #1 world ranking for a reason, but this kid is incredibly hungry. Chance Moore from Canada, ranked 2 in the world on course.
A cork 7 into the whale tail, landing good. Backflip tail whip, super high amplitude out of that steep ramp. Oh, I love that. A massive, slow 270. And an opposite 720 on the last jump.
So
beautiful run.
The judges told us they liked opposites. Then they told us they like bangers more. We saw Chance Moore drop in and do a run that had opposites and bangers. What are the judges gonna do with this one?
That huge 270 over the hip looked amazing. So that backflip tail whip off the back of a 720 into the whale tail. And of course, at the very end, it was a super corked 720, but it was regular. Then on the last jump, he spanned the other way and did an opposite 720. That's massive. You can make that hip look huge.
Oh, look at that. He's above the building there from that camera angle.
Amplitude's a super important piece of criteria for the judges.
I mean, it had amplitude, it had execution, it also had insane trick variety, complementing those 7s, different directions.
Totally.
I don't know. What do you think?
And a tail whip in there.
You think that's enough?
No bar spins. I think Godziek trumped it for me with, you know, front flip no-hander in and cash roll out of a whale tail's preposterous.
Yeah, the cash roll out is so heavy. And we saw how dangerous it is as well with how far he landed to the side.
Tight, but not quite enough. A 90.66 from Chance into second place. Good. That is the foundations for 3 big districts, though.
You called it, and Chance Moore knows it as well. He agrees that second place is where he belongs, but things are really heating up as Lucas Huppert prepares to drop in for his run in the dual district.
Expect a lot of spins and some tech riding here.
He had a second place in row-to-row earlier this year, which was his highest result on the World Tour.
Front flip bar spin in.
Yes.
Double tail whip out. That's a nice pair of tricks on a whale tail.
Whoa.
270 tail whip. That's MVP for me. A bar spin, and then he's got speed to go for the big jump on the cash roll. My word, there's a lot to talk about there.
So much power.
That 270 tail whip, super dipped, having to kind of rotate on an unusual axis to land riding down a wall. Unfortunately, you kind of compromise by doing that, because then he only had speed for a bar spin on the spine, but there's 2 tricks there instead of 1 when someone just jumps the hip. So that double whip, very easy on the eye.
This run was full of muscle.
It was, and super varied. I love that. That's so tricky. And then a bar spin. And interestingly here, he went from the spine to the longer takeoff on the last jump, and that's difficult. Having watched practice, most of the riders that are hitting the hip and spine option, they're only able to carry speed for the shorter takeoff. So the judges will note that.
Yeah, that's a good call right there. And with there being only a few features in the course, things like you're talking about, getting more tricks in the bull section, hitting that big kicker from the bull section, the judges are thinking about all those aspects right now.
So a lot of conversation amongst the riders and the judges have been on that berm feature. A 91, it's second place.
So close to threatening that score of David Godziek, just 1 point off.
This is tight, and that's purely down to massive progression.
Hoopy's on another level this year. He had the silver medal in row-to-row, which was his first time getting a silver medal at a diamond event. I feel like he's elevated his game in the 2026 season.
Really, really high scores on the first district, but everyone's been stomping their runs. This guy, I'm very excited to watch. Like I was going to say, the riders are talking about how to ride that hip wall ride feature. What scores more? Is it blasting the hip, or is it doing more basic tricks? Double tail whip into the whale tail. 3-1, 2 bar spin, double truck driver out. Now watch this. He does a downside tail whip into a takeoff, and then a flare. He's unlocked his own skate park here. A bar spin on the spine, and carrying enough speed for a backflip tail whip. That blows my mind. Jake doing 3 tricks where some are only doing 1. He rode a slopestyle course backwards for a moment there.
Good point. And to summon the speed to squeeze out that flip up on the final jump.
Yeah, so where this run lacked in, you know, double flips, cash rolls, those big crowd pleasers, it absolutely performed with technical ability. 360 double bar spin there. Now I hope we get a replay because there was so much to take in on this third feature.
Yeah, I mean, just count the tricks.
Here we go, that's a downside tail whip, but he's landed in the takeoff, ridden backwards for a flare, and then had enough speed to do a bar spin over the spine that everyone else is hitting. I mean, he did an extra trick.
And the trick that he chose on the last jump is a trick that you need more speed for than other options.
He's a powerhouse. He's a skate park rider, you know. Up north in the UK when it rains all winter, he's riding skate park bowls, and he proved that there. He created his own skate park environment out of the course that's been built for him.
Well, the judges knew that he would thrive at this event. He actually earned his invitation through a video submission. There were 2 spots available through a video contest, and it's great to have Jake Atkinson back on the World Tour at an event that he, you know, it's pretty much built for a rider like Jake Atkinson. So the score to beat a 92, Jake Atkinson's score coming in an 87, moving him into 4th place.
Massive. I think he can add a bar spin out of that whale tail. He did a 360 double bar spin. I think there's time for another. But let's talk about the local legend.
Oh, yeah. It's been so fun watching the local boy. You hear the crowd getting behind him. The Dutch rider, Pim Scheers, receiving a wild card invitation and rising to the occasion in practice. Let's see if he can put it down.
Oh, beautiful decade for the home crowd. Lovely extension on that 360 no-hander, going up on the hip with a 270. Oh, wow! There's even more ways of riding that section. And a flip off of the big kicker to the moon. That is how you light up your home crowd. I don't think there's ever been a mountain bike event like this in the Netherlands, and to be the first Dutch rider on course dropping bangers like that, that must feel good.
You hear how loud they get for every rider, but it was like 10 decibels louder for Pim.
Like 10x, yeah. Look at that, beautiful decade. 360 down whip, same thing. 360 no-hander out. Now this was super interesting. He did a 270 up onto the wall, and then began a massive carve to go up the wall again. Like I say, just super unique style of riding, and finishing it off with the ultimate crowd pleaser, front flip to the moon.
So good. Pim coming from a BMX competitive background. You see that Masters of Dirt shirt. He performs on the Masters of Dirt live shows, and you'll see potentially Pim trying some pretty crazy stuff on the Big Air District, because that jump is to spec the same as the jump at the Masters of Dirt shows. The score coming in for Pim, a 76.33, dropping him into 8th there right now as...
He'll be stoked. Just landing a run here in front of your home crowd's amazing.
Yeah.
Do you know, I actually forgot about the other districts for a moment there. I'm so invested in this, I kind of thought this was the contest.
It feels like it.
There's 2 more districts.
So another rider who received his invitation through his video submission, a legend in the sport of slopestyle, but retired from slopestyle competition. Great to have him back, Max Fredriksson.
Double tail whip into the whale tail, backflip bar spin out, an opposite 270 unturned down.
What?
A 360 bar spin unturned down, what a package. And a big double whip. No stranger to technical riding, and this technical course giving him the environment to perform. Yes, Max.
Max is right at home here at District Ride, another rider who loves to train in the skate park. He took 6th in 2022 at District Ride Nuremberg. Let's break this run down, Matt.
Yeah, so double tail whip, real classic Max Fredriksson there, the Swedish style. They love the tail whips.
Look how early he catches those pedals. You see him adjusting that left foot, getting it just perfect.
Yeah, backflip bar spin there. Maybe looking for a tuck no-hander, but I don't want to...
He could. Watch him squeeze.
Yeah, so that was an opposite 270 inward table to a regular 360 bar spin inward table. I mean, since the last time I called tricks on a broadcast, it's got way harder to keep track of what these guys are doing.
Every year, it's ridiculous. And to think, you know, it's been 2 decades where we've been periodically dropping a Red Bull District Ride into the World Tour. And it's crazy. Every time we do it, it's not every year. Sometimes 3, sometimes 4 years of space between District Ride events. And so you really get to see that level increase when you have those big gaps.
Yeah, and a brand new course, a brand new venue, and some new faces. It just delivers an ultimate show every time. I think this is kind of the pinnacle, because the different districts, I know we've talked about this before, but it just allows new talent and new tricks and a way of riding that no other contest does. And was it an 86.5, Cam?
An 86.5, putting Max Fredriksson into 5th place, just behind Jake Atkinson, but ahead of Jack Fike there. Max sitting in 5th as we take a look at the top. It's going to be the Canadian, 29 years old, Griffin Paulson.
Locked in behind the tinted goggles. Sorry, Cam.
You're good. He earned his wild card through the Burrell Bike Fast as well, so he had to work for this invitation.
Backflip bar spin, a double flip out! Whoa, a double flip out of a whale tail. Big X, I think it was an X up. Backflip X up there on the spine. And a nice 360 bar spin there.
Okay, obvious.
Dude.
You can tell, even if you don't follow this sport, you can tell by our reactions what the highlight was of that run.
Yeah, he ripped on those handlebars and did 2 backflips out of the whale tail. That's insane. That's a super steep takeoff, but timing the rotations is super tricky. So here we go, let's watch it again. A backflip bar spin in. Oh, he had to put a pedal in and then pull for a double flip all at once. That's hectic. Spotting the landing halfway round. That was amazing. One of my highlights for sure. Nice X up there, landing real high on the wall ride, putting together a solid run. The only male rider to be riding a full suspension bike too, which is difficult to carry speed on, and that's maybe why we had to see a pedal there in the whale tail, but I don't think the judges are going to score it down when the pedal unlocked a double backflip.
I mean, you imagine knowing that in order to do a double backflip out of that step down, you need to land perfect and sprint your rear end off into that takeoff. It's going to score high double flip in that feature. We know that for sure.
Perhaps the 360 bar spin on the last jump isn't going to be awarded as much as, you know, an opposite 360 tail whip like we've seen, but big bangers like double flips never disappoint. The judges cannot ignore craziness like that.
The crazy thing is spread across 3 different districts. There's so much opportunity for things that are lesser than to be worked out in the wash. Like, sure, there's bigger tricks on that final jump, but we still got 2 districts left for Griffin to really play toward his strengths. One of those districts being the big air, where you know Griffin is going to thrive. 73.66 for Griff, dropping him down to the bottom of the leaderboard in 10th right there.
So clearly, every jump's being looked at like as an ingredient for an entire run. The double flip blew our minds, but the X up onto the wall ride, 360 bar spin on the last jump aren't enough to bring that score all the way to the top.
So Godziek leading the charge right now with a 92, but only 1 point behind is Lucas Huppert, who I really think is coming into his own this season. Could be the season of Hoopy, as he's already got a 2nd place on the World Tour. Next up, the Canadian Ben Thompson.
Yeah, still some big names to come. Oh, there we go.
Oh, here he's already on course.
Front flip in, I don't know if we missed. Oh, 3-bar down whip. What a whale tail trick for a step down. Bar spin up.
Squeezes that bar spin in.
Regular tail whip for him.
Nice.
And an opposite 3-bar bar back. So I know that Ben spins the normal way towards his back foot, but kicks tail whips the irregular way, right?
Really throws you off, doesn't it? Trying to remember which one is regular and opposite.
Oh, it was a front flip no-hander.
So
just like
good.
we saw from David Godziek, and then a 360 bar spin to downside tail whip. There is not enough. Like, this is wild.
Look how...
Booting the bike towards the ground and then grabbing it again. Actually on landing, yeah.
Yep, that right foot touched the pedal at the same time as the tires hit the landing.
That's the maximum you can squeeze into that air time, and he managed. And I love that. An opposite 3 for him, with 2 bar spins, 1 opposite,
Look at
one
him, he's
regular.
like, yeah, that's pretty good. Checking out his own replay, admiring his work. Ben Thompson's biggest result coming last season, a 3rd in New Zealand. I know he'd love to get back on the podium again this season. Here we go, Grant Fielder, Peter Henke, Thomas Janon, crunching the numbers there in the judges' tower. It's so cool to have such accomplished riders being on the panel here at this event.
What's been really cool here as well is some of those judges like Peter Henk and Thomas Janon have been riding the course in practice, and that gives the best insight and the best understanding to what actually goes into these runs, because it's not always as it seems, you know, having to carry so much speed for that cannon, like we were saying about the spine being so exposed up on top of the streets there, that all factors into it, and it's only until you ride it and you're up there you can understand that. Big score.
Score coming in, 86.33 for Ben Thompson, moving him into 6th place. So we've seen 11 riders drop. Ben Thompson slotting into 6th place, so about mid-pack. Respectable considering we have 2 more districts. 4 riders left to go.
Buckle up.
In the dual district, and this one is a doozy. Tim Bringer out of France, a rider who had a great season last year. The 2025 world champion in the sport of slope.
Here we go,
style.
one of my favorites for the win, and you're about to see why. A double backflip into the whale tail, 360 triple bar spin out, and he's got speed for a beautiful 270 no-hander. A 3 table you could eat your dinner off, and managing to just carry speed for a truck driver. He slipped his pedal on that 3 table, probably because of how extended it was.
You were talking a lot about speed and how great it is that a lot of the judges have ridden the course. They understand the quirks and the nuance that goes into, you know, gauging and gathering speed for these features. He had more speed into that spine out of the bull than anybody we've seen yet.
Yeah, what an entrance to this district with a double backflip into a whale tail. I don't know if I've ever seen that. I'm sure it's been done, but like that blew my mind. Triple truck driver outs. Already you've got like bonkers difficulty and technical maneuvers. Let's see what happened. Where his foot came off in the table. The irony there is he did the table to such extreme extension that he forced his own foot off.
The only way for a bike to flatten out that much is if the foot comes off and you make room to fold the bike around your body. But yeah, the consequence and the side effect of that was that his foot wasn't there on the pedal when he landed. It's miraculous that he was able to gather enough speed to trick that final jump, but yeah, that's gonna hurt him.
Looks positive though. He knows he's got another opportunity if he makes it into the final to ride this district.
Yeah.
But Tim Bringer, a notorious big air rider with huge tricks. It's perfectly possible he can make it up in the next 2 districts.
Oh, 100%. You gotta give it to him for finding speed to trick that final jump too, though.
Yeah, true. I mean, he only got his foot back on the pedal like in the takeoff. And there's no way a 360 bar spin was the trick he had planned. So he's like conjured that out of thin air within half a second.
Yeah, so another reminder about the format. All the riders will take a run on each of the 3 districts. We will trim the field. Those scores from run 1 in all 3 districts will maintain. We won't throw away those scores, but after we trim the field, all the riders will have the opportunity to take another run in all 3 districts and potentially increase their scores for their final ranking. Score in for Tim Bringer is a 72.66. Yeah, man, did they ever dock him for that truck driver on the last jump. So unfortunate that he happened to fold that 3 tables so hard that his foot fell off.
Yeah, although the double backflip into the whale tail was amazing, you can't argue with, you know, slipping a pedal towards the end. Erik Fedko, one of my favorites in practice, a truck whip into a whale tail, landing deep. Oh my word, a 360 Superman seat grab on a step down. Landing nice and high there, carrying speed for a nice flat spin 360. Oh, cork 720 to the moon.
And that right there.
Yes, but he knows how to work the crowd. Oh, I can't wait to break this run down.
Yeah, this is the consistent rider in our field here today who's really going to clean up the scraps if riders wager too much, because here we go.
A truck whip, a super technical trick, but he has to catch his pedals and land good enough to then carve and do a massive 360 Indian air on that step down. Now this was beautiful. He went super high, landed super smooth, but kind of, you know, a 360 on a spine, and then choosing the shorter takeoff at the end. He might be marked down a tiny bit for that, but as far as execution goes, I don't think I've ever seen such a fluid run on a district like this. It was beautiful.
Big amplitude off that final jump as well.
Yeah, 3 Indian air out of a whale tail is totally nuts.
Fedko probably looking stronger this season than he ever has. He took the gold medal at Christchurch Crankworks earlier this year, which was his first big Crankwork Slopestyle World Tour gold medal, an 87.5 in the dual district for Erik Fedko, moving him into 4th place.
Looks a bit disappointed, but it gives a bit of insight really into, I think, how they're judging that corner feature. So if you're going to get 2 tricks out of it, I mean, I keep trying to explain this, I'll get a chance later, I'm sure, but let's just lock into Nicholi.
Oh, this is ridiculous. Definitely the most veteran rider in the field with the most district ride appearances. He's competing in his 5th Red Bull district ride. He was the winner in 2017, and he's on fire so far this season, already landing on the podium 3 times in this young season. You see Nicholi Rogatkin visualizing this run here in the dual district.
He looks fierce and he looks hungry.
A rider who thrives off of the crowd energy more than anybody we've ever seen in this sport.
Here we go. Cash roll into the whale tail. Backflip, 1, 2, and backflip double bar spin out. Choosing to get 2 tricks out of this with a downside tail whip. A 360 X up, all regular for Nicholi. And a Cork 720. No! I'm gutted for Nicholi, under-rotating that Cork 720 and not quite managing to stick that district.
So close.
Could be devastating too, because only half of the field make it through to finals. So unless Nicholi can make it up in the next 2 districts, he might not be able to return to this dual district.
And we've seen having a flawed final jump in this district really hurting riders' scores. You think, oh, it's okay, he can have another chance, but he's got to make the cut before we'll give him another chance at the dual district.
Absolutely. So my takeaways so far from how we're seeing these runs get judged are really what happens on that hip and the spine, okay? So riders have a choice. They have to choose, do I want to do 2 tricks? Or if you're Jake Atkinson, 3 tricks? Or do I want to jump the whole hip and make a nice big jump out of it? A 61.66 down into bottom place, unfortunately. But with a crash, you can't be surprised.
Man, it's going to be hard to come back from that in the next 2 districts and still be able to make the cut, though. You know, it's like, if that was on one of the wooden landings, the amount of over-rotation on the Cork 7, I think he could have potentially gotten away with it.
But with a
little bit of loose dirt on the top layer of that dirt landing started that drift.
Yeah, it's sandy, it's dry, and it's loose, so unless you land perfectly, you're going to get some tire slide, and that's cost Nicholi.
Dane Folpp from Australia, 19 years of age, warming up on the roll-in right now. This is one of the riders who represents the future of the sport of slopestyle. He's been climbing the ranks the past couple seasons. Currently ranked number 7 in the world. He's got a 6th place already this season. Here we go, Dane Folpp.
Front flip, suicide no-hander, very unique. Oh, he just had speed to get a back flip out of that whale tail. Downside tail whip, landing high. Another tail whip. What's he got on the last jump off the smaller kicker? A 3-whip bar. Super tech run, loads of tail whips. The front flip suicide into the whale tail was amazing.
We're going to see how deep he went on it once we get to see that replay.
He was able to recover and still get a flip out. Showing a little bit of disappointment there, but it's probably for this, you know, landing deep. He'd have had a bigger plan than just a backflip there, I think. Yeah,
I think we would have seen a backflip with a whole handful of bar spins if he didn't land so low on that front flip sui. But the front flip sui is going to score high, and he squeezed out the 3-whip to bar on the last jump. He's going to be kicking himself over this right here, though. Look how far he landed and lost speed.
Whoa.
I think he's got to get his eyes back up to even just ride that next feature. It's pretty amazing he was able to summon a backflip out of there.
And then, yeah, tail whip up there on the hip and another tail whip on the spine. So 2 tricks.
Come on, Dane, what's the score going to be? Really cool to see a lot of these youngsters. Their family has traveled out here with them to watch this event, just capitalizing on the opportunity to visit such a beautiful city in the beautiful country of the Netherlands. I know, Matt, you and I have been enjoying being here and seeing the sights. It's cool to see the families getting amongst the action as well.
Yeah, I can't believe there's a slopestyle course in the middle of that town, you know? It's like we're sat here with this huge crowd piling in as we're riding off of roofs. It's so cool.
It's irregular for sure. The weird thing is we're getting used to seeing this in the city center right now. All right, 78.66 for Dane Folpp.
Perhaps being punished there for just doing a backflip out of the whale tail compared to the rest of the field is not quite difficult enough.
Yeah, that's going to move Dane down into 11th place. David Godziek still untouched there in the top spot with that 92. Lucas Huppert only a point back in second place with a 91, and Chance Moore just biting at their heels there with a 90.66. And Erik Fedko, we know he's going to be playing that consistency card here all day. And, you know, we'll see as the day progresses. When we get into that big air district, real opportunity for riders to roll the dice if they need to, and for riders to strategize thinking, hey, I can't afford to have a bum score in one of these 3 districts. So that's, you know, the strategy is really going to heat up and become a major part of this thing as we get into the next couple districts.
Another district with options for the riders here at the finish. You've got a hip in both directions, a quarter pipe, and actually the option to do kind of an open loop out of the quarter pipe onto those hip landings.
Which I don't know if we were sure we'd see anybody treating that quarter pipe as an open loop, but we've seen it a bit, and I think that'll score high because, you know, we've seen so far in the dual district when riders think outside the box, things like Paul Couderc going for that seat bounce, backflip bar spin. They seem to like that. Also, if you remember from watching the women's field take to the Park District, we've got some nuance and some challenges coming into that cannon log as well.
Yeah, so we know that the spine, you have to land perfect, you have to go high. So you could throw an entire run away here, because if you mess up on that spine and slip a pedal, you are never clearing that cannon, in my opinion anyway. Paul Couderc.
And think about it like this. A lot of these men in the men's field, they have more experience on spines than the women. Not a ton of skate park specialists in the women's field, so you may see them gamble a lot on the spine.
360 toboggan on that, right on the edge of 2. Super steep sides. A cannon, flip, can't get... Oh, he's under it. Oh, he went deep on a cork 7.
Oh, it's deep on the whip, too.
Was that an opposite downside tail whip? It was like he turned that step up into a jump that was twice as big, but it was necessary because his rotation was so slow, he had to go that massive.
To the last panel of plywood.
I can't describe how scary carving for his rotation is on that spine. You're above the handrail, all the way over this town. Look at that.
There's a certain aggression to a Paul Couderc run.
Oh, it was switch. It was opposite.
Oh, you're right. Look
opposite.
at that.
He made the jump massive. It was opposite. That's going to score big.
Yeah, it's crazy. Paul does his opposite 720s corked out and his regular ones upright. And he does his opposite so smooth sometimes it's hard to tell what's what. All right, Paul Couderc, the first rider to drop a run here in the Park District. We're waiting to see
the score. It was possible that he slipped his pedal on the final tail whip. We didn't get a very good angle of it, but the judges will have done. They get all the replays, all the angles. They're not going to miss anything.
Yeah, as we're sitting here talking about the run, they're sitting there watching as many review shots as they need to make sure they know exactly what happened, and they're assigning the right number to these runs to rank them accordingly. So an 81 is the score for Paul Couderc. He looks like he's not too happy about that. He's saying, come on.
I think he'll be more disappointed, you know, with what he did on the last hip. He landed so deep on that Oppo Cork 720, I don't think he was ready for another jump.
Yeah, for sure. Jack Fike sitting on an 86 from run number 1.
Pretty new on the scene. It's events like this that are really going to shape his future, shape his career. Let's see how he performs under this level of pressure.
I think he just needs a 75 to move himself into the lead right now, as we've only had one rider so far drop into the Park District and add a second run score to their overall tally. Of course, 3 districts in this Groningen, Netherlands Red Bull District Ride competition format.
A little bit windy up there. They've got windsocks to look at, but you can kind of see in his t-shirt that it might be wise just to wait to get a clean run. And here we go, dropping in. Backflip, double bar spin on a spine. He lands deep. Has he got speed? Is he going to... Oh, he just gets over it with a 360 bar spin. Massive off-axis 3 double whip and an opposite, 3-bar back. 3-bar back on the hip. That's a sick run, spinning in different directions. Backflip double bar spin on the spine. I really thought from landing deep, he might not even have speed to clear the cannon, but he made it happen.
Yeah, I watched him push off of that cannon, and he's a big boy. He's a strong kid. This cannon bounces. Watch, boom, he pushes off with so much force that
like
it actually trampolines as he pushes off. Oh my gosh, perfection on that 3 double whip. Going the other way there with the 360 bar spin, a bar spin back. Yeah, somebody's on fire right now.
That's a hell of a use of a district. Spinning both ways, doing tail whips, bar spins. That's really nice to watch, and it's going to score well for sure. I think it said a 79 was needed to go into first place.
I think it's a 75 he needs. He gets an 87, so scoring a point higher than he scored in the first district. Jack Fike goes into the lead with a combined score of 173. Well played. Liam Bayless at the top of the course, ready for his second run of the day. And on any other day in a slopestyle competition, you'd be riding the same course, but here he is dropping into district number 2.
3 triple bar spin.
Oh, man.
Flip off the cannon we've seen. Huge amplitude. And a 360 Superman seat grab. And an opposite 360 inward table. There we have it again. Massive maneuvers. Rotations in every direction. That's how you take on the Park District.
Kind of spotless right there, too. I mean, when we watch the replay, let's see if we can find any faults in that run that the judges may be able to dock. It seemed perfect.
Yeah, this was definitely a highlight. Look at that. Kicking up to the sky, so off axis with that 3 Superman seat grab. And I love that front flip on the cannon. I can't describe how scary it is bombing into that cannon. You have to pedal to clear it. You really feel like you're being fired across a courtyard. And he just rolls his head forward and snaps a frontie, and honestly could not have landed better.
Yeah, checking the boxes of a lot of different trick categories in that run too, going all different directions.
It's a big score.
Oh man, big score is right, a 91. Liam Bayless scoring the biggest number we've seen so far in the Park District, but Jack Fike, his combined score is still leading the charge. Liam Bayless slotting into second place there.
Here we go. We've got to lock in for this one.
Yeah, here we go.
He only needs an 81 for first place. And if he lands what I hope he's going to land, we're going to expect a lot more than that.
This should be fun. What does he want here, Matt?
Here we go, dropping in. Triple truck driver landing perfectly. Only needed 1 pedal for 360 tail whip on the cannon. Over the big air district, a triple tail whip. I can't believe what I'm seeing. And the first riser to use the quarter pipe, but he does an alley-oop, dip 360 across to the landing. There's massive tricks, huge difficulty, but he's also riding the course in a unique way, and that does not go unnoticed.
Yeah, if you want to just leave no question, do the biggest combos and use the course in a way that nobody else is using it in, and you set yourself up for success.
He's a silent assassin. The way he processes courses, figures out what runs to do. When your trick bag's that deep and that broad, that was so clean, man. I think he only had to pedal once here. Yeah, most people putting 2 cranks in, but he landed so good on the spine. 360 tail whip, and it's flat out, that cannon. It's barely like 10, 20 degrees. It's so flat. It's like doing a 3 whip out of a driveway. It's really impressive.
Yeah, really long gap, really mellow angle on that cannon. Pretty different dimensions than what we see on a lot of the modern day slopestyle courses, so it's fun to see which riders can apply their biggest tricks to this cannon. All right, score coming in. Waiting for the score for the Park District for David Godziek. He had the top score from the dual district, so he needs less than anybody else to go to the top of the leaderboard. Look what he does, a 91.5. David Godziek, combined score of 183. He is still the man to beat.
Such a nice run to watch. And pretty easy to score for the judges at this stage, I'm sure. You know, when there's bangers like that, you're just making their life easy.
Chance Moore, representing the new wave, has already scratched onto podiums at diamond level slopestyle events. He wants to taste that podium again. He's got that bring it on attitude to his riding.
He loves big jumps and big air time. Let's see what he's got in the Park District. A backflip bar spin. Oh, a front flip example bar spin.
One-footed can, I believe.
What?
Oh, deep.
Oh. And an opposite 360 bar spin there. I need to see that cannon again. I can't even process what he did.
Yeah, there were limbs flying. I think it was a leg over the top.
Was it really?
Front flip one-footed can, but we'll know for sure when we see that replay. Yeah, Chance is 100% going all out today.
So flip bar. Slightly less difficult than what else we've seen on that. Oh, it was a front flip, not a front flip 1 foot can. How did I call a bar spin?
Well, you just saw limbs flying.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the angle for us right there.
That's an amazing shot.
Oh.
3 double whip, almost upside down like a backflip double tail whip.
Under rotated and deep. That's not usually a combination that works out.
Yeah, he actually turned it into a step down.
Yeah.
That was essentially like a massive off-axis 3 double whip step down. We've not seen anyone ride the quarter pipe yet as a quarter pipe. So again, when you're looking for ways to separate yourself from the field, that might be a way to do it, but only if the trick is worth, you know, if the juice is worth the squeeze.
Chance was sitting on a 90.66 from the dual district. That was one of our top scores. And you see anybody in the 90s so far here today, that seems to be the threshold of top spots, the way they're judging it.
Whoa, look at first place in this district.
Wow, a 92.16. The judges loving that run from Chance Moore.
So despite only doing a flip single bar on the spine, I think it was the front flip 1 foot can on the cannon that really pushed that score up. So that cannon feature being rewarded, the riders need to focus on it.
Chance Moore into second place. Second place is the position we saw Lucas Huppert in after everybody took their run in the Park District. Can he get back up there into top position here, dropping into the park?
360 double bar spin, landing good. 3 tail whip like we saw from Godziek. Oh, a massive cork 720 landing in the center of the landing and finishing with a 360 down whip on the final hip. That final hip for me really would have lifted that score. It was a solid run, but then getting an opposite tail whip in there with that decade. Beautiful run.
The judges are being such sticklers for cleanliness out here. I think there might have been a tiny little pedal slip on the 3 whip off of the cannon.
Let's see.
Look at him take his time between the first and second bars.
It's clean.
Barely did touch the ground though.
Yeah, it's just side of getting your foot adjusted. I don't think you'll get scored down for that too much.
I don't think so. It was almost nice to slow him down a little bit for that box jump that's easy to overshoot. You know what? We know he has huge tricks in the big air district. He is playing his cards smart right here so far in the first 2 districts. What is the score going to be for Hoopy? He had a 91 in the dual district.
Remind us about how many riders actually go through to the final, because when you're choosing what to do on these runs, if you're down in 8th, 9th place, you're going to be thinking very differently to a normal competition.
Totally. We start out with 15 riders for the men, and we trim it down to 6 for the final. 89.33 in the Park District for Lucas Huppert. That puts him up in top 3, sitting in 3rd place right now with 180 points combined score. All right, well, you're talking about the fact that we haven't seen anybody riding that quarter pipe as a quarter pipe. Maybe we will now. We got the skate park specialist, Jake Atkinson, ready to drop in.
Yeah, if you're a betting man, you'd bet on Jake doing well here in a Park District. He's no stranger to riding spines. I don't imagine he's ever ridden one that high up above the ground.
One of the most unique spines we've ever seen.
Oh, wow! How's he going to get speed? How's he going to do it? Oh, he went big too, a tail whip on the cannon. a cash roll on that wooden step up, and here we go, a massive flare on the quarter pipe.
That is called playing toward your strengths right there. Both of us were screaming at the TV when we saw him do the 360 tire tap, knowing that it was going to be hard to get speed for the cannon.
Massively, totally unique use of course. I've said you have to land really good on that spine to stand any chance of clearing the cannon, and he took a massive risk there with a 3-tap, but that is his repertoire. He's a technical rider, he loves skate parks, and he's just gone and proved that.
What do you think? Pretty smart choosing the tail up on the cannon. I've always thought that if you do a tail up on a feature, it helps give you a little bit of extra distance. Maybe he was playing that strategy card there too.
Yeah, you get to hop, almost bunny hop, to get more distance and more height.
Kind of throwing the bike out in front
totally.
of you.
I love the cash roll. The cash roll on this step up was awesome, and it was really complemented by a flare on the quarter pipe. Only criticism maybe was no bar spins, hands not off, you know, he had one tail whip, all the other tricks were extension tricks, but for me it was the use of course that's going to set him apart from the other riders.
And execution as well, not even the hint of a pedal bobble anywhere in that run. A 78.33 is a score here for Jake Atkinson, moving him into 7th position.
Yeah, a thumbs up from him, but perhaps some disappointment over the score there. Maybe he took the gamble on using the course in a unique way, an experimental way.
Hearing the roar from the crowd can mean only one thing. Pim Scheers, the Dutch local boy, is our next rider to drop. Yeah, absolutely.
What's he got? The crowd are... Whoa, that was beautiful. Massive 360 no-hander. And nothing. Awesome trick. Super cool extension trick. Big double whip. Oh, man.
I'm so glad he didn't get pitched over the high side.
Slightly under-rotating a 360. He had to really work those tail whips there to make it happen. But thankfully walking away from a pretty huge crash.
Yeah, Pim rising to the occasion here. Comes from the BMX background. Picked up the mountain bike a few years ago. Done some shows on the mountain bike. But really, he looks like he fits right in with the top riders in the world here on the slopestyle traveling circuit.
Yeah, that 3 no-hander was awesome. Such a cool spine trick, and I love that. No one else thinking about doing nothings. An old school trick done on a brand new course. Unfortunately, threw it away here though. Let's look. So he kicks 2 tail whips. Oh, he caught his foot on the front wheel, killing the rotation.
Kind of needed to be more aggressive with those tail whips.
Yeah.
Get the bike away from his body a little more.
Yeah, maybe dip it in. He's watching the clip here, trying to understand.
Yeah, he knows.
He's like, I booted my front wheel in a 3 double whip.
Yep. Well, Pim scoring just a 39 for that run, so he'll have to make up for it in the Big Air District. We know he has something he's been trying to practice that's never been landed in a mountain bike competition, so might be the right time to roll the dice there for that. But Max Fredriksson,
tech wizard,
will love this district.
He will. He spends months of the year in the Swedish skate parks, and he's been given one right here. 3 bar back, no, opposite 360 bar back. It's a massive regular 360 on the cannon. Truck tail whip there.
Whoa.
And a double downside whip. Really, really cool, sort of classic signature Max Fredriksson run there. Spinning both ways, bar spins, tail whips. He made that skate park his own.
Such a small jump, that final box, to squeeze a double whip out of.
Yeah, massively. They're slightly hip too, so it's not a normal double whip, it's slightly downside. Let's have a look here. So it was opposite.
Yeah.
Look, bar, he only puts one hand on and slings it back the other way, just looking like a masterclass of control there. That's an amazing shot of the size of that cannon being fired out there with a huge 360.
Yeah, and not landing perfect on the spine, so I'm sure he was hoping to have enough speed to 3 that cannon, kind of pushing through to get that distance.
Maybe wanting a bit more where we've seen, you know, 360 tail whips off the cannon. Maybe Max looking for a little bit more than a standard 360, but a solid run.
Yeah, I think if he had more speed into that cannon, we would have seen a variation there.
Packed venue.
Max Fredriksson with 3 bronze medals on the Crankworx Slopestyle World Tour in his long career. A 6th at the last district ride in 2022.
An 81.5 puts him in 6th place, so currently protected, the top 6 going through to the final, but there's many more riders to come who haven't scored yet in this district, one of which is Griffin Paulson, the wild card.
6 riders left to go here, and yeah, 6 is the magic number for that transfer spot. Of course, we still have another district to go here before we trim the field. Griffin, Paulson.
Getting the crowd hyped up. This guy is a warrior. I've seen him try some stuff in competition runs, you know, like almost for the first time.
He's another one like Nicholi who really thrives off of the crowd's energy too.
Massively backflip. Oh! Into a front flip bar spin, a lovely pair of tricks. Huge 360 double whip.
Yes.
Come on, make it happen, Griff.
That's it.
And a 360 double bar spin. Honestly, if you just walk through that run, backflip bar spin, front flip bar spin, 360 double tail whip, 360 double bar spin. That is just an amazing combination of tricks, all presented and performed and executed perfectly. Let's have a look. So upside down with a bar spin. I just want to see him throw his weight forward there, catching the bars. That's a massive, massive cannon trick that's no doubt going to be rewarded with huge points. We're going to check here the final 2 jumps.
You see his foot kind of hover.
Oh, dude, look at that. And that's just hectic, spinning the bike twice there. I wasn't expecting that from Griff. They were bangers and heaters. He's stoked.
I would say his run in district number 1, the dual district, he kind of left a little bit more on the table. He would have wanted to have something a little bit more on the final jump. But that run right there in the park district, I think that is the same way he envisioned it in his mind. I think that was just pinnacle execution there.
Yeah, and it's just so important, you know, you cannot afford to lose points in any of these districts when it's so tight with the scores and only 6 riders going through. He needed to bring a massive, massive run together right there, and he's done it.
Yeah, I think that's a chance here for Griffin to move himself a little bit closer to that bubble cutoff point of 6th place. Sitting on a 73.66 from district number 1.
Front flip bar spin on that cannon's really, really sick.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest things we've seen today. And when we saw that replay, I noticed, you know, you have to pinch the seat with your knees to stay attached to the bike while you're upside down doing that bar spin. His foot hovered, but he landed right back on the pedal. Oh, man! Huge score for Griffin Paulson in the Park District, a 91.16.
Moves him up to 9th place. So although it was a massive score, the first district kind of doing some damage there to the overall combined score.
I think he's gonna love the Big Air District though, you know?
He's gonna come alive there.
Ooh, Ben Thompson warming up, sitting on an 86.33 from district number 1.
He needs 97 points out of 100 here to move into first place. So a lot of work to be done, but there are 2 districts to go. Let's see what he's got in this park district. Flip bar, just like Griff, carrying amazing speed. A fronty no-hander. We've got insane runs here in the Park District. 360 double side whip. Oh, man.
He almost drifted his tires.
So what, he landed and bounced?
It looked like he bounced, and it looked like there was a little bit of traction braking after his tires touched down for the 2nd time on that 3 double downside whip. We'll know from this replay.
We'll see it, but of course, this was amazing. Front flip no-hander across that huge gap over the Big Air District. This step up has got a super high landing that he's coming into now, and the course splays out in 2 directions. So if you land in the middle and you need to get across to one of those hips, you've really got to carve. Not getting a replay, but we know that no trick on the last jump is going to be a disappointment. But what a start to that district, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just impressed that he was able to hold on to that thing and even make it over that final jump, because it looked like he was bouncing off the bike over the step up. Score in real quick there, 64 for Ben Thompson. Moving Ben into 10th place. Oh, looking at our start list right here, I think it's gonna be Tim Bringer. There he is.
You just never know what he's going to do, you know? He grew up riding BMX, blasting quarter pipes, absolutely going to the moon on spines. He's going to be staring down at this district. I think he's going to be pleased about what he can see. This is a district built for Tim Bringer. What's he got?
Ready for some amplitude.
Oh, that was so high. 360 inverted tabletop. The first flip we've seen on the cannon with a flip no-hander. 360 to double bar spin and a 360 down whip on the final hit. That was mega. I I can't wait to see that spine again. That tabletop was pressed to his shoulder, and he was probably 2-3 feet higher than any other rider's been on that.
And guess what? His foot landed right back on that pedal that time. He learned from run number 1.
He made up from the dual district for sure. Yeah, that's one of the longest cannons we've ever had in a slopestyle competition, you know. Often you get that free fall feeling on cannons where you pop up and you've got the landing a lot lower. This one's flat out. It really is a true cannon.
The tricks we're seeing off that thing as well. Backflip combos, front flip combos, 360 combos.
Yeah, Tim. And again, on that step up, was it a 360 whipped double bar?
Yep.
Yeah.
Good memory. I think there's so many tricks, it's hard to remember. That's exactly right.
Meltdown here, remembering these combos.
All right. Oh, my goodness. Judges loving that run in the Park District for Tim Bringer. A 94.83.
The highest score we've seen in the Park District. It's no surprise that Tim Bringer was going to absolutely set that place on fire.
Tim moves himself up the rankings, but just outside the bubble. He's sitting in 7th. And remind yourselves, 6 is the cutoff as we get a peek of Erik Fedko sitting on that 87.5 from run number 1.
Yeah, this is super interesting. You know, Tim Bringer can win one district, but still is 7th overall. Flip double bar, landing a little bit deep, but what's he going to do here? 360 bar spin across there from Erik Fedko, a smooth operator. Oh, that's just the best trick.
Lands in the middle of the landing.
360 downside tail whip with a super seat grab at the end and a flare on the quarter pipe. What a run. He knows how to work the crowd. He knows how to ride that step up. So he did a 360 downside tail whip, but rather than catching the bike with his feet, he catches the seat with his hand. And that is so unique, so high risk. The precision required to land that trick is massive, and opting to do a flare on the quarter pipe at the finish. So a flip double bar, that's up there with the tricks we've seen there. 360 bar spin, pretty decent, but for me it was the step up that was just, I admire. You know,
every time he drops in for a contest run, I'm hoping we see this trick, which is the 360 tail whip. Watch.
3 down whip, grabbing the seat, huge extension, almost looking into the crowd, and a flare, which we saw from Jake Atkinson, who didn't get rewarded, but I think Erik, the rest of his run really complements the use of the quarter pipe. It had everything.
Yeah, the 3 down whip to Indian Air is such a standout from that run, and the fact that he left no stone unturned. Every feature tricked. Good variety in that run too.
Good variety. We know the cannon is a big, like, super well rewarded feature. He did do a 360 bar spin on it, but when we've seen fronty bars, fronty no hands, 3 whips, they're going to consider that that's slightly less advanced. But actually, as a whole packaged run, it was amazing. It had extension tricks, it had rotation tricks. Let's see how this one gets scored.
Big question here is, will he add enough to his run 1 score to put himself inside that top 6? Top 6 being the transfer positions, but still another. Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
91.
Consistency is key. 4th place in both districts is enough for 4th place overall. So he is in the top 6, moving towards that big air district. We know that Erik Fedko has what it takes to get into the final. Now this is interesting. Nicholi Rogatkin is currently down in bottom spot with a 61.66 because he crashed in the 1st district. So the work he has to do here to find his way into the top 6 is just so important.
The game of catch-up for Nicholi Rogatkin begins now here in the 2nd district.
360 tail whip, getting some speed for a double tail whip on the cannon. Judges are going to like that. A twister and a step up. And a nice boosted 540 on that quarter pipe.
Huge Sally coming.
Huge Sally. There's work to be done. That's the 2nd of 3 districts. We know he is going to take to the big air district like a man possessed. And that twister is going to really help build the score. Whether it's enough for the top 6, I don't know, because he's starting from such a low score, but it's like traction, it's progression. You know, this is going to be important. I think it's possible.
And, you know, who knows? Maybe this was the run in the Park District that he's been planning the whole time, but you can't help but wonder if he's like, you know what, I got to make up for it. Let's drop a twister on this step up.
Yeah, the first twister we've seen in this district ride. probably not the ideal jump for, you know, it's so stepped up, and the speed into this is tricky, but when he wants it, he just lets it rip, doesn't he? And a twister there.
1080 rotation. He can do that trick on less than ideal trick jumps, and I don't think there's anybody else who, you know, has the ability to sprinkle that tricks in so many different circumstances.
Yeah, and that's an important factor, you know. Sometimes a big trick like a twister, if other people are doing it, it just doesn't score as much. But in this competition, you know, look, second place in Park District, a 93.83 is a huge score, but I think it only moves him up to 12th. But looking at the scores, it's not a huge distance to get up to the top 6, so that was just so crucial for Nicholi.
Yeah.
And we'll find out later whether we're going to see him in the final.
Yeah, the game of catch-up is so brutal, but you're right. He's like 15 points off. Anything can happen, you know? But man, it's all about being consistent in these 3 disciplines. We are really seeing that now.
Dane Folpp now coming all the way from the southern hemisphere to one of the flattest towns on earth to push his slopestyle career into the stratosphere. This guy's got a mad trick bag, really cool style. I don't actually know if he's got a skate park background. We're about to find out how he performs on these features, dropping into the spine.
Sure looks like it.
Bar spin to 1 foot can, landing a bit deep.
Yeah.
Oh, getting speed for a 3 tail whip, but not managing to clear the jump, but he's still going. Double whip, slipping pedals, and a 360 triple bar spin. He absolutely went to work there.
Squeezing it in after that little bobble on the cannon. It all kind of started as a chain reaction from missing some speed, landing that spine low.
Some massive bangers there. Slip pedals halfway through is going to cost him, but really the level of that run was super, super high, so he's going to be starting from a solid score, and then they're going to figure out how much they need to deduct for slipping pedals. But I'm so impressed with that run, and to come to a brand new course, super unique features at your first district ride and link tricks like that together is so admirable and so impressive. So this, I think, is where it went wrong. He landed deep on the spine. He did a 3 whip on the cannon, which is a massive trick, but just cased it and then still went for a double tail whip, and the casing got a bit worse.
Yeah, he was forced to take pedals right here between the landing of the cannon and the lip of the step up, and that threw him off for that double tail whip. But you got to give it to him, the improvisational skills for a youngster, just 19 years old, to not give up on that final jump and still squeeze something out. That's some veteran skills right there.
Yeah, to stay focused, adrenalized, and keep pushing forward with your run and not buckle is super impressive. Honestly, if he was 2 or 3 inches shorter on that cannon, it would have been a different story.
Oh, for sure. There's not a lot of case knuckle on that.
Yeah, these features seem to me like a game of inches. Your landing and the position on the landing is really crucial. You have to land high, nosed in on that spine. You have to land the cannon well. 65 points, 13th place in that district, combined with 11th place in the dual district. Puts him in 14th.
So Dane Folpp will have even more work to do in the big air district than Nicholi Rogatkin, who, as we mentioned, had a crash in district number 1, but a great run in district number 2, moving him up to 12th. But there you go, you're looking at your top 8 now after.
Just from the Park district.
Ah, true right there, we go.
Yeah, these are the standings from this district itself, where Tim Bringer scored top spot. No surprise, really. Super technical rider, knows how to boost, knows how to get that amplitude.
Yeah, 2 different circumstances, 2 different groups of riders finding themselves with decisions to make coming into the big air district, going, all right, I've been real consistent in one group in the first 2 districts, or I had a bobble in one district and I need to send right now in big air because it's now or never.
And that's the overall standings from the 2 districts combined. So David Godziek, top spot, Chance Moore in 2nd, Huppert in 3rd. 3 very different runs combined to get those podium spots right now, but it's all to play for in the big air district.
Well, we've been talking about it all day. The excitement and anticipation has been building for the big air district. Let's remind ourselves of the standings between the first 2 districts for the women's category as well, because they will be making their way through that building, through the restaurant, through the staircase, through the hallway, and if you make a wrong turn, through somebody's bedroom to get to the top of that roof and drop into the big air district. This is the start list for the women as they go to the 3rd and final district for this qualification round. here in the big air part of today's competition.
So the big air district is just totally different to anything else we've seen. It's way less about technicality and linking tricks together and way more about amplitude and difficulty. There's a huge flat drop with a step down option. Most people choosing to take that flat drop there to carry speed and get a slightly smoother landing from not going as high. And then we've got a absolutely enormous big air jump that we know can facilitate world's first tricks, never before seen maneuvers, and a quarter pipe at the end.
The cutoff line for the women's field is top 3 moving on to finals. Johanna Nussbaumer will be the first rider dropping in on the big air district for the women. She's currently sitting in 2nd position, needs a consistent run here and a good score to stay in that top 3.
We've seen history made in the big air district at previous district rides. It's really what it all boils down to for me.
Yeah, I mean, some of our biggest memories are from Nuremberg with that big jump that's very similar spec to this one. Here we go.
Oh, that crosswind on the flat drop almost took her out. Oh my word, and going enormous on that jump.
I don't know how she held on.
Man, you could physically see the wind just push her wheels sideways. So the way it's built and the way that you cross these streets, that flat drop passes through a street, you know, and the wind is pushing along that, and it doesn't catch you until you're in midair. So at the start position, you can't be sure how much you're going to get blown, even though that windsock's kind of protected behind that tiled roof, but she got tipped.
Yeah, I mean, it's blowing right down that hallway, as you said, and you see it lean her, basically pushes against the wheels, and you fall into the wind. So we can see that the wind is coming from the same direction it's been coming from all week in practice.
And then so much speed for the big air jump. My only observation would be that when she went off the drop, she sort of tilted her bike with the wind.
Yeah, you gotta go against it.
You kind of have to push your bike against it if you stand any chance at the net impact being nothing. So I think she almost like allowed the wind to blow her a bit more. Hopefully some of the riders up there are going to watch that and learn from it. But amazing to see her make it to the finish, and she went so big on that big air jump.
Yeah, I mean,
the first time the crowd have got to see that jump be used, and they're like, whoa, the air time's massive.
The riders are typically breaking into the kicker of that big air jump. I don't think Johanna hit the brakes at all. She went incredibly deep, but the good thing is the gigantic historic City Hall building is blocking that wind, so they do have a clear path without much wind interference on the big step-up jump.
So Alma currently sat with a net first place if she can make it to the end of this big air district. She might not choose to trick the drop, she doesn't need to, but knowing Alma and how like fiercely competitive she is, she's going to want to put a full run together, because these 3 districts combined do count as your final score. Half the riders go through to finals, but this score could be the winning run.
100%. Final runs will be another opportunity for each rider to drop into all 3 districts and ideally improve their score from run number 1. And we've seen Alma in practice. She looks the most comfortable out of anybody in the women's field on this big step-up jump.
Yeah, always composed, always planning and scheming. You never know what she's going to do. I've seen her flip this big air jump, dropping in.
Oh, luckily no wind there for her. She tabled.
Gets way less. Oh, spin on the biggest jump in this district ride course, and a toboggan at the end. Coming off of 2 amazing districts, I'd say with some degree of certainty that that's going to take top spot.
Alma doing exactly what she needs to do to keep that number 1 next to her name. She was a full 5 points ahead of the next rider in district number 1. I can't wait to see what the score will be here.
I think that landing's 7 or 8 meters tall, and they're way, way above it. It's just an enormous feature. So we've got 92, 92, and a 93. They are all amazing scores from the 3 districts. A 277 is the new women's score to beat at this district ride. Lads on tour there, watching this amazing competition heat up. So I've got Sheelan Reno up honestly on top of the world in this super flat city. You can see for miles and miles from up there, but she is staring down on the big air district, probably with eyes on that windsock, trying to suss out when it's time to go, if it's time to go.
Yeah, and they have a course official down there telling them as well what the wind feels like, giving them the go-ahead sign. But that flag is a huge help as well, that Red Bull windsock. When it is pointing at the ground, you know it's time to drop.
Yeah, it's awesome that there's that level of communication for the riders to really understand what's going on course. The big air jump is super protected by the building, as you said, Cam. It's this drop that can catch you out. There you go, an X up, first female we've seen trick that drop. Oh man, unluckily, Keith, 2 nose high there, suffering from the compression of that enormous takeoff. Unless she wanted to pull a manual all the way down the landing, I mean, we'll never know.
Thinking outside the box. Yeah, it's different riding a jump like that with such a compression into the takeoff.
Amazing to see that X up on the drop, though. The first woman rider to trick, well, the first rider in the entire competition to trick off that building. But the judges do not like crashes, and we know
Turns
that.
out.
Yeah, it does. It's been evident before, and it's going to be evident again. Look at the view those people get. That is amazing.
Yeah, she was definitely feeling a tuck no hander variation there, but she kind of started dipping the bike a little early and couldn't get out of that looped out position. Luckily handling that tumble with a bit of grace. So 33.33, not a great score for Shaylin Reno right there after that crash. We'll see if she's able to stay in the cutoff bubble of top 3. We aren't going to see Robin Goomes or Harriet Burbidge-Smith drop into the big air district. They've opted out. So the pressure will be put on Natalia Nicholi right now, about ready to drop in, a rider who performs in shows on the Masters of Dirt Tour on a very similar jump. So if she can get through this step down and be comfortable into the running of this jump, we know she is really accustomed to the airtime this jump provides.
Having watched Johanna get blown by the wind, it's easy to get nervous and kind of panic and worry that that's going to be your fate, but you really have to block it out. Focus on your own riding. What, are you referring to the fact you just ride off the top of an enormous hundreds and hundreds of year old building? It's so sick.
It's hard to get used to, but I just saw that the flags are pointed at the ground as well. Look at that.
Nice.
No wind.
Straight off the drop, skidding down the landing, get a bit of speed.
Oh,
my word!
Come on!
Oh! She's so nearly held on to the biggest front flip. That's a big impact. Unfortunately, she landed pretty deep and then went over the handlebars and pretty much connected with the flat bottom. So that impact was massive, but so was the trick. And it was all to play for, and she went to town on that front flip.
She was going so incredibly fast into that lip. The start of that rotation was perfect. It's just she was in the air way longer than she needed to be. She sailed down that landing. And
yeah, and that's just the scariest scenario with front flips. It's really difficult to slow one down, and when you know you're going deep and you've got that unwanted air time, the force through your arms and through your upper body is so difficult to deal with.
Wow, the crowd reacting right now. Natalia is up. Great to see, because of course that was a heavy impact. Not really catching much transition with her body, going straight to flat there. Man, she's a warrior.
Absolutely. What a trick to want to send, you know. And there was still the quarter pipe to go, but this is where she realizes, oh, I should be landing now, and I've got 10 feet to go. And man. Yeah, there was no way she was holding on to that. It's just the forces and impact is too big, and she's gone pretty deep. Thankfully, though, still in 3rd place.
Yeah, and now she's like, okay, after that impact, like, do I want to go and ride the finals? It's like, take some inventory of the body here. Really good to see her pop up so quick, because that was a heavy slam. But I guess the finals are determined right here. We trim the field down to 3. Natalia Nicholi will have the opportunity to ride the finals, but then Johanna Nussbaumer and Alma Wiggberg,
she's going to go and get checked out. We've got amazing medics on site. They're going to check for things like concussions and decide whether or not she has the green light to go again in the finals. But right now, 3rd spot for her, and that was amazing to see her get the opportunity to throw down such an enormous front flip.
Well, I'm so stoked for her that she rode this district as well. I mean, we saw Robin Goomes and Has decide not to ride this district because it's very intimidating. But I spoke with Natalia yesterday in the Riders Lounge, and I said, how you liking that big jump? Because I know she has so much experience on a similar feature. And she goes, well, I haven't ridden that district yet. I was like, oh boy.
Seriously?
Yeah. And that was late yesterday as well. But great to see her figure it out. And if she goes a little bit slower, she would have landed that so perfect. Well, the start list for Big Air District for the men there, Matt.
So many names that just have unreal big air talent. This jump, yeah, like you explained, so the Masters of Dirt Tour, you know, we see world's first tricks all the time. And interestingly, the exact dimensions of that ramp has been used here. So it's like, okay, let's build an environment and a landscape for massive tricks. Where can we look? And let's look where all these huge tricks go down. And they're
possibly a little bit more speed with this setup as well.
Yeah, you can see a lot of tire marks and skid marks down that drop landing. You do have a lot of speed into it. It's just, honestly, can mean more airtime. So Paul Couderc.
I love staring at a screen that features Paul Couderc with a lot of airtime, and that's what we're privy to here in a couple minutes. Paul Couderc, the first rider to take to the Big Air District for the men. What kind of combo is running through his mind right now?
So he's going to have to trick everything. He's going to have to trick the drop, massive trick on the big air jump, and of course the quarter pipe at the end. He's currently sitting in 9th place, so he has to get into the top 6 to stand a chance at having a second run in the finals.
Yep, that is the level for the men's field right here. 3 trickable features. You got to trick them all in order to score high enough to work your way into that top 6.
Absolutely packed venue around a course that looks like the city was just built for. So well integrated.
I've only ever seen it with Red Bull District Ride course running through the middle. It's going to look weird seeing it without this.
Here we go then, loads of speed, a flat drop, back flip, bar spin, off the roof, a double back flip off the can, landing deep but solid. Oh, and using the wall ride with a tabletop. That was just amazing. Yes, Paul Couderc. The speed he had to generate to do a flat drop flip on that flat drop is massive. He came cranking in, pre-hopped into the roll-in, and then just off the end of a building, pulling back with no transition. That's going to score big. And then a double backflip with a 1-foot can-can.
I mean, 3 backflips in just the first 2 features. Oh, you're right. And he didn't get all the extension either. We can see there in slow motion.
So the judges are going to get all of these replays to understand it. I mean, that was good extension,
yeah.
Though. That white shoe helps me certainly see what's happening.
Oh, for sure.
And then at the end here, there's actually loads of ways of riding this quarter pipe. You can go right, left, but Paul choosing to use the wall ride, only with a tabletop on it, but I think using that wall ride when it's been put there for the riders is going to help, but a tabletop and not, you know, a flare, a bar spin.
All right, the score for Paul Couderc, 85.66 here in the Big Air District.
It's his best score of the 3 districts, and it's not surprising, seeing the amplitude and tricks. I just think perhaps with that quarter pipe feature, being a 3rd of the tricks here.
Best seat in the house right there. You can talk to the riders as they're about ready to drop in.
Jack Fike, Tech Wizard. 3 features stand between him and the end of this first round of districts. Being a new rider on tour, I can't really predict what he's going to do on any of this, to be honest. But having seen the other districts, he loves his tail whips, he loves his bar spins. He can spin both ways.
Well, he's a huge ML fan, ML Johansson. He's a student of the riding of ML. And you know, we can think back to what we saw from ML in District Ride Nuremberg 2022. You know Jack's been studying those clips, so I'm curious to see what his trick choice will be here. Will he go for a 360 variation or perhaps a backflip variation?
So, yeah, a bit of wind there. You can see the flowers moving in the background. And Matey with his arm out. I mean, you're putting a lot of trust there, but the windsock tells a story for sure.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you're patient enough to wait for the perfect window, you're only exposed to the wind for a very short period of time in this district, and it is worth the wait.
And interestingly, like when you do a trick, over a straight air, the wind affects you less. So we saw with the women getting blown during straight airs, but with a 360 or a backflip, it almost helps combat the impact of the wind blowing you. So I think we're still going to see the men throw down on this drop despite the uncertain crosswind. Oh, we had a thumbs up.
Yeah,
now
especially those rotating tricks are really going to help kind of
you can like muscle the bike. You're in charge. You're in control when you're doing a trick.
It has some of its own agency. It's not just completely vulnerable to the forces of the wind. All right, Jack Fike likes what he sees. He's dropping in.
Oh, yeah! Flat drop, backflip, bar spin. Big air jump. 360 bar spin to downside tail whip. So high, so well executed. And a lovely alley-oop tail whip on that last quarter pipe. Man, this is like
a big jump.
Bonkers.
For a truck to down whip.
Yeah, it was super all spread out and delayed, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think he was trying to make sure that he didn't over-rotate. He looked down and saw how long he was still going to be in the air for. And, you know, a little bit of an over-rotation right there, but I think he did a good job kind of spreading his body out.
Yeah. That was so sick.
Here we go.
Flat drop backflip with a bar spin. So we go. Flip, 360 bar spin.
Yeah.
Is his feet good? Yeah, solid landing.
He kind of spread his legs out here, and tried to slow it down a little bit.
Yeah, it's really hard to make those tricks work when you have so much air time. You actually have to just distribute it across an enormous amount of time.
But yeah, feet straight to the pedals. So the judges will score it for what it is, and that is 2 huge combos in a row. The backflip bar spin off the flat drop into the 360 bar spin to downside tail whip. Score coming in for Jack Fike on the Big Air District, an 88.16.
The highest score so far in the Big Air District. That's the score to beat. And the total across all three, 261. So we're going to find out later on where that comes out overall. Liam Bayliss now.
Ooh, Liam Bayliss has been loving this big step-up jump. He started off his season strong, 5th in Rotorua.
An 89.8 will put him in first place, which is a big score, but perfectly doable, well within reach. Just needs 3 total bangers, all fit together, all landed perfectly, all well executed. Not really that easy at all, actually.
Yeah, Liam, he and Fedko, I would say, were the 2 riders who utilized the hours of practice the most. They were out there from start to finish of those practice windows, and I also noticed Liam just lapping this Big Air District.
Yeah. Can you see that cup of sand on the table?
I know, I thought maybe it was like
hands.
some protein powder. Somebody's going to make a smoothie a little later.
I think it might be for the gloveless riders, for their hands, so they don't drop in with sweaty palms off of a roof.
Yeah, you may not be on a mountain, you may be on the top of a building, so you don't have dirt
on your tires. Did you used to do that old trick where you'd rub your hand on your tires?
I'm a glove guy. I just put some gloves on. How about you?
I used to be. I've started wearing gloves in recent years, but when I did slopestyle, yeah, I was gloveless and always looking for dust on the floor, some way of drying my sweaty hands.
Oh yeah, there's some mom spaghetti, arms are sweaty moments up there at the top of a roll, and as you're ready to drop in, if you don't have gloves on, you're gonna be slipping around.
This for sure is the district the crowd are going to be the most excited about. It's almost gladiatorial, people crowding around to just watch people send it into the sky.
Oh yeah, and this is not a crowd that is, you know, half paying attention. They're locked in right here, and they're letting the riders feel it.
Yeah, nor have they ever had anything like this go on in Groningen.
Nice, Groningen.
How was my pronunciation?
It was
there?
good.
Yeah, tip top.
I like this place, man. I love just walking around and seeing the houseboats in the canals, trying not to get hit by somebody on a bike ride through the town. You gotta keep your wits about you walking around here.
Yeah, it's flat out.
Bikes everywhere. Yeah, bikes outnumber the human population in the Netherlands. I think that's part of the reason why they're so engaged in this competition as well. This culture is built around bicycles. They see bicycles all day, every day. They just may not see them riding off of a building upside down, sideways, and backwards.
So here we go. The wind's dropped a bit, still looking a bit. Oh, there we go. Another backflip bar spin on a flat drop. I can't describe. Oh, that's a big impact. He went huge on that jump.
How did he go so deep? He's been double flipping that so much in practice.
Yeah, I'm sure when he hit the takeoff, he knew he'd gone massive, but with double back flips, you can't get out, you can't, you know, uncommit from them. You're locked in, and he had to ride the wave all the way through to the bottom of the landing. It did look like he was sat up, which is a good sign, but falling that far off of a 7-8 meter landing, huge impact.
Liam Bayliss going incredibly deep on the double backflip there, over-rotating. Of course, we have great medical standing by, tending to Liam right now. But yeah, that was a heavy impact, Matt. You know, if you land at the top of that thing, ideally you slide or roll, but Liam went very far down that transition.
So he'd have had to go really fast for that flat drop backflip bar spin, a lot faster than if he was doing a straight air. And perhaps that extra speed into a double flip, he just didn't get the calculations right. I'm sure it's the first time he's linked those two tricks together, and
well,
yeah,
you also mentioned
massive.
how many skid marks there are in the flat bottom coming into the lip of the step up. A lot of the riders scrubbing speed before getting to that step up, but when you're in your final run, you're just thinking, you know what, give me more air time. Perhaps maybe Liam didn't break as much there as he has been in practice, but also, yeah, like you say, coming in faster to have the speed for that flat drop flip, play a part.
Massively. Braking for jumps is a nightmare, really. It's very inconsistent. Like every time you brake and skid your back tire, it's different. The deceleration's different. You might wait to hear a tire squeal, and you know, you're gauging it for different reasons. It's very hard to judge. I'd rather pedal for a jump and get more speed than try and slow down. So yeah, unfortunately getting the calculation a little bit wrong there and going massive on that double flip 1 foot can.
Well, it's crazy too, because we haven't seen a lot of that in practice. We've seen the riders landing in the money sweet spot on the landing. But yeah, you know, just more energy in finals.
Yeah, there's an element of experience to it too. So the more slopestyle competitions you've done, the more you understand that, okay, I'm going to practice my double flips and I'm going to practice my flat drop back flips, but putting them together is different. You know, a flat drop flip is a faster maneuver, and it's probably the first time he's put one into the other. But riders like this guy, you know, the way he uses the course in practice, he's figuring everything out over the entire week. And I think for the newer riders, yeah, it's a learning curve. And unfortunately there we saw one of the biggest double flips I've ever seen, actually. You think where he took off all the way to where he landed, it's just ginormous.
Yeah, for sure, the height. Which also means that height is where he was coming down from as well, which is...
It's a shame it was a double flip, because yeah, you can't get out of that trick, can you?
Really tough to get out of him, I'd imagine. So we see David Godziek, who will be the next rider to drop up there, has to... There we go, this is great. We hear the crowd cheering. Liam appears to be up and getting escorted off course from the medical staff. I feel good about that, man. Yeah, it's who knows what he's feeling right now, but if he was just escorted off course, that's something we love to see.
Yeah, I'm sure he's sore, but to go that massive and land that hard with a thumbs up there, amazing to see.
He's on the backboard being carried off. So yeah, we'll be thinking about Liam Bayliss right here, hoping for the best.
Look how flat that place is.
Right? If you're going to do a slopestyle competition, well, you better be jumping off of a building, because this is a flat city, which also makes it why it's such a bike-friendly city for commuting. Everybody's going to get their groceries on their bike.
So amazing.
All right, well, Pascal is standing by with the most consistent rider we've seen so far in our women's field, Alma. How's it going down there, you two?
Alma, you are making history today. You are current leader of the women's category. Can you tell me about the trick you just did on the big air?
I just did a flip bar. I got a little hung up and like misjudged the speed, so I wanted to do a can after, but yeah, I'm still happy.
And we saw you being so solid through all the districts. Which one is your favorite so far?
I really like the first one, the Park District. It has everything super flowy. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Alma. Can't wait to see you at the finals. Cameron. This is getting crazy in here.
It is getting crazy, Pascal. The thing that she said right there, Matt, that stood out to me was she wanted more after that backflip bar spin, and she'll have an opportunity in the finals.
Yeah, I love when you're sat in first place, teasing that you have more to give, you know?
Yep.
It's awesome. Talking of which, we have seen this man in practice do a cash roll windshield wiper on the big air jump, which in a competition, if he pulls it off, will have never been done. It will be a world's first. He only needs 77 points here to claim first place across all 3 districts. I dare say it's going to be a way bigger score if he pulls out the bag what he's got planned.
What do you think? Will he go for it in this run, or will he hold on to it for the finals?
Yeah, this is technically a qualification run where we find the top 6 riders to go through to final, but the score will count towards the final. And given that he's sat on such a massive pair of districts right now, he's going to want this just to be an overwhelming score. Let's see.
I'm really curious. If he wants this trick so bad, he's willing to try it in the first run.
So he looks like he's lined up with the flat drop. We haven't seen anyone line up with the step down yet.
True.
But in practice, that jump kind of causing problems. Nicholi went deep on it, crashing. They've since cut the takeoff down. I think Erik Fedko may have ridden that step down lip that you can see once, but we're going to see most of the riders going off the flat drop and then controlling their speed for the biggest jump in the Netherlands.
Straight up. I feel like it's safe to say. What is he gonna choose here?
3 tricks stand between him and holding on to that first place.
Waiting for that windsock to point at the ground.
It's important to say as well that, you know, in practice, you can hit this jump over and over again. None of these guys have hit this section for a good couple of hours.
Here we go.
Flat drop, backflip bar spin. Come on, can he get the speed right? There it is! A cash roll, tail whip to bar spin. A trick that pretty much only Godziek can do in the entire world. And a flare to the left there on the quarter pipe. No doubt he's hanging on to that first place. So we teased the fact that we know a cash roll windshield wiper is possible, but let's not play down the complexity and just how amazing a cash roll tail whip to bar spin truly is. There it is, the flat drop flip bar. A cash roll tail whip. He's already caught the pedals there, and then he has time to throw a bar before muscling it round to an amazing landing. Look again, so you carve, you lean, kick a whip, catch pedals, then throw a bar, then finish your cash roll. That's what big air's all about.
I would say that's just smart strategy right there. That's a trick that he has all day long on lock, and now he still has a bigger banger in the back pocket for the finals.
Still a winning trick. But look, I mean...
What do we got here?
A 95. A 95, of course it's a 95.
A 95, and we know he can score higher.
Yeah, that's really, really smart riding from Dawid. He could have gone for the windshield wiper cash roll, but if he crashed, his entire 3 districts would be worthless.
Yep, just
Absolutely
watching
worthless.
The way he's played his strategy so far the past couple of seasons, I had a feeling he would be smart there. Chance, on the other hand, whatever is his biggest trick, I think he's going for it right now. That's just a hot take.
Yeah, Chance, no stranger to massive jumps. He likes riding his big bike. I've seen him do huge free ride jumps with massive flip whips on enduro bikes. Like, this guy is no stranger to airtime. Again, looks like he's lining up for the flat drop at the top. Then we've got the big air jump, and then we've got the quarter pipe, where we've seen a flare.
Oh, here we go, he's on.
Yo, 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 front flip on the flat drop. That's insane. That's a massive front flip. I'm so gutted. That was wild. Oh man, a front flip off of a building is just stuntman work.
And that's just so So dramatic. He was sitting within striking distance to make it into the finals. I had a feeling he was going to go for his banger there, but now he has a crash for his District 3 score.
I had no idea that trick was coming. I want to see like that front flip, rolling your weight forwards off of that roof, and then he kind of does a flip whip, but he's got all of this momentum to tuck in and turn it into a cork 720. So far, that's like a normal backflip tail whip, and just the gymnast in him can rotate again.
I mean, just a couple angles under-rotated. The feet were on the pedals. He was looking over his shoulder. He just needed maybe a millisecond more airtime, and that thing would have folded right into place.
Yeah, that trick has to be perfect. There's no way coming round on that axis that you can't land anything other than plumb upright. Oh, look at the faces of the crowd. They couldn't believe what they're seeing.
Now you wish you saw Chance maybe just do a little bit of a safety run right there to secure a spot in the top 6, but you got to give it to him for just going all out.
Yeah, massively. Had 2 really strong districts at the start. And I guess he thought, you know, if I can put a solid run together here and do my best, this could be a podium set of districts.
Yeah, you know, a little bit younger than Godziek, maybe a little bit less competition experience, and you never kick yourself for going for it as much as you do for
not going for it.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Hoopy, Lucas Huppert, ready to drop in to the 3rd district, the Big Air district. And we've seen some big stuff out of Hoopy on this step-up jump in practice.
Front flip off that flat drop, so sick. It's just amazing to watch, isn't it?
Imagine just...
I'd be interested to see someone put that in a landed run all the way through and see how it scored against like a flat drop backflip bar spin.
Well, I have a feeling we may see some more riders front flipping off this drop before the day is done.
Certainly got us excited, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, if you stood up there, you understand how scary it is just approaching the edge of that cliff. There we go.
Then 360 bar spin, scrubbing speed. You can see him skidding down the landing.
Oh, yeah!
Massive twister. He could not have landed better. And a 540 bar spin.
He's up there.
So close to the edge of the landing. Amplitude, box ticked. He went high on everything, you know. That twister, perfectly upright in the sky. And the 540 bar spin for me was the best trick we've seen on the quarter pipe.
The tricks were great, obviously, but the thing that impressed me most is how he modulated his speed to perfection in the flat bottom before the lip of the step up. He is coming into his own this season. We're seeing a veteran Lucas Huppert, and the results are evidence of that.
Yeah, I mean...
Watch the braking.
He couldn't have landed straighter, and then like lets the back end skid out as he locks up, just enough to get the speed perfect for a twister, which is essentially like an off-axis 1080. And then at the end, a 540 bar spin.
And he went up out of that quarter pipe on that 540 bar spin as well.
Yeah, that's super important. It's a third of the features in this district. It's, you know, everyone talks about the big air jump, but you've got to trick all 3 and you've got to trick them well.
Big air score for Hoopy, a big one, into the 90s with a 91.66.
His highest score in district. And now he moves into 2nd place, so it's looking pretty strong for Hoopy that he's going to make it into the 6-man final.
Definitely has some big bullets to dodge here, but putting himself into 2nd is about as safe as you can get considering the level Godzie's on right now.
So Jake Atkinson, currently in 10th place. He has work to do to get into the top 6. We saw him roll the dice for some really interesting maneuvers and ways of riding the first 2 districts. Let's see if the big air district's enough to get him into the 6-man final.
Well, the big air district has a quarter pipe at the bottom too, and we know from the first 2 districts that Jake Atkinson loves a quarter pipe.
Oh, he's done a straight air on the drop.
Yeah.
And a nice catch roll, landing it pretty high up and casing. Whoa, 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 whoa!
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he went up onto the sub box. Quite likely the only guy we're going to see give that a good go. Unfortunately, not pulling it off, but I guess. I mean, what you dude.
Showing off some trial skills here in order to get back into that bank.
There's that little strip of wood on the... Whoa, you have to go in so nosed in. I wouldn't do that for love nor money. That's really
the
crazy.
last thing I would do on this course.
So, Jake, probably understanding that it would have taken loads and loads to get him into the 6-man final, just wanting to do a mega cash roll for the crowd. Look at that alley-oop.
I mean, that was kind of stylish too, though.
Walking away from his first district ride here in the Netherlands.
Yeah, fair play. Good showing for Jake Atkinson. It's cool to have him back on tour. You know, he was outside of the world rankings in order to get
It was
an automatic.
It was a twister, wasn't it? Did I say cash roll?
Yeah, it's just a cash roll.
Oh,
Yep, up to the flat deck though, unfortunately. Scrubbing a little bit too much speed down the land into that drop. Oh, yep. Stop before you get to that railing, Jake.
I think he wanted to do a foofnoo on it or something, which would have been really crazy, like one of the absolute highlight moments. But we're going to see him at more contests, mixing it up with the tech riding for sure.
A good show from Jake Atkinson. Ooh, get ready for the crowd to get loud. I believe our next rider is going to be,
the local hero.
Pim Scheers, the Dutch BMX rider, turned mountain bike rider, holding his own out here at District Ride Groningen 2026.
We saw him crash in the second district, so it's gonna, I don't know if it's possible for him to make it to finals, but in front of a home crowd, he's gonna want to deliver and show what he's got. Straight air off the drop. What is he gonna try? Oh no, the drop crash! Oh! The nothing front bike flip. We saw him going to work with that trick in practice. It would have been just incredible to land it in front of a home crowd, but he wanted it. He gave it his best shot.
That's a trick that he has on lock on a BMX bike. He's done it on a mountain bike, but it's way more difficult on the bigger 26-inch wheeled dirt jump mountain bike. He's got to throw the bike far enough away from him to where the front tire doesn't hit him in the chest, but then he's got to be close enough to the bike to where his arms can reach the handlebars. And as you can see, just a couple inches out of reach.
That trick can either be like...
Oh, this is going to be the angle.
That could go magnificently well.
I feel like his fingernails scraped the grips. That was the closest one we've seen yet.
It was 1 inch between perfection and disaster, and it unfortunately was down the road of disaster.
Can we get somebody to send Pim some 80 mil rise bars? He'll be landing that every time.
So he crashed, but also the FPV following him smoked the floor. I saw in the background of the replay, it really smashed the floor.
We might need to replace a couple propellers.
2 crashes in 1 run.
I knew he was going to go for that again, too.
Yeah, good on him for trying.
For sure. I mean, he's crashed that probably 8 times over the past couple days.
Warrior.
There we go. A look at the overall standings right now. And we still...
Yeah, but we've only seen 6 or 7 riders, male riders, hit the big air district, so that 6-man structure and breakdown is certainly going to change.
We still have 7 riders left to go, Matt. And Max Fredriksson being the next. Sitting in 9th, so outside of the cutoff. A guy who's got so many combos with all this airtime up for grabs on the step up. Let's see if he can do something big enough to move into the top 6.
So unlike Pim, it is possible for Max to get into the top 6. It would take a score in the 90s. You know, with a huge flat drop like that, where Max can do things like 360 bar spins. I don't know what he's got on the big air jump, but he likes a quarter pipe. So this is a good district for Max. Dropping in now.
Nice.
Huge truck driver landing good, killing a bit of speed there for a flip.
Yeah.
Oh, braking too much, unfortunately. Looks like he's going to run away from that, but so difficult to judge braking. So tricky to kill the right amount of speed.
Totally. We've seen riders not break enough and go way too far. And now we've seen a couple riders break too much and land up at the top of the flat deck. Luckily, though, when you land at the top of the flat deck, you get to roll down that transition rather than getting bucked straight to flat.
Yes, good to see Max still smiling. Always proud, always stoked.
I love the flip double whip he chose here, though.
Yeah.
I mean, the trick was executed perfectly. He just needed a little bit less brakes.
Yeah, he caught pedals pretty good, but that...
Oh, yeah, he was bobbling a little bit with the right paddle, wasn't he?
Yeah, big case over the bars.
He wouldn't be able to roll out if that front tire didn't dig in, it looked like.
Of all the districts, this one's looking like the most challenging in terms of how many riders are crashing, you know. We've seen a lot of consistency and perfect runs in the first 2 districts, but I feel like half the field are crashing in this one.
Totally.
Because it's all to play for. It's so important.
Yep. Riders kind of know how much they need to make up now. And Not a lot of room for safety runs out there for the riders who are lower down the results list. Oh, baby, we got Griffin Paulson warming up. And we've been saying it all day. He's a rider just like Nicholi Rogatkin, who thrives off of the energy from the crowd.
Yeah, for sure. Of the 3 districts, this one is his domain.
Yeah, a rider who's not going to be afraid to big trick off of this drop either.
No, I think, yeah, of all the things, a big drop and a massive mega booter, this is where Griffin Paulson's going to get to work and get that crowd revved up. Our current leader.
There it is, yep, our current leader there. Griffin sitting outside the top 6 in 11th place. He has such a great score in district number 2 for Griffin. He posted a 91.16, but if you remember back to district number 1, the dual district, only scored a 73.66, and that was just because he had kind of a safety trick on the final jump because he didn't have enough speed. So that type of tiny little bobble just follows you throughout the day.
Yeah, I think smaller jumps aren't so suited to Griffin. I don't think he's like so revved up to ride skate parks as some of the other guys and girls, but this is where he's going to impress us for sure. I don't know what he's got planned, but expect almighty maneuvers. Drop in.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Oh,
huge front flip. A double backflip. Except a double no-hander. I've never seen that in my life. And then an alley-oop. Yeah, boy.
No way!
I can't wait for this replay. He did the deepest press-up of all on the front flip. I think he almost hit his head on his front tire, and then looks up and does a double flat. Was it a double backflip X-up? Let me see this. Let me see this. Right. Once that seagull gets out, like, oh wow! He like almost kissed the ground. Right. So you have to rip.
Oh yeah, he even
double
got full X
backflip.
there too.
X-up. Tuck no-hander in the second rotation. Sickest trick of the day by far for me. That is unreal. Slightly corked out too, just because it's so hectic.
Yep. Yeah, look at his reaction.
Actually, it started off with confusion. He was like us. He's like, what am I seeing?
Yep. That is the trick that has surprised me the most today, hands down. And you saw that same reaction from David Godziek.
Yeah, I've never seen that done. So on the last quarter pipe, it's worth noting he did an alley-oop X-up. Not crazy difficult, but let's just ignore that and focus on
I
the
know.
fact
I
that he
don't
did
even care. I know the
massive
judges do,
front
but
flip. Yeah.
I don't.
I'm just so invested in the scores here and whether that's enough to push him up to top 6.
A double backflip with 2 variations.
Yeah, district.
Oh, what's it going to be?
89, 3rd place in the Big Air district.
Oh, moves him up to 4th,
So
though.
right now, the total is good enough for the final. We have many more riders to come, but when it all matters, when it all was required, Griffin Paulson can make it happen when it comes to Big Air.
Oh, man. 5 riders left to go. Only 2 positions of buffer there for Griffin Paulson and that cutoff window. Oh, you saw he wasn't that happy with that score.
Yeah, I mean, on the first 2 jumps, it was winning district for me, but I think they can't ignore the quarter pipe.
100%.
They can't. When there's riders doing flares and wall rides.
Scoring it for everybody else, yep.
Yeah, an X-up isn't quite enough to push it into the 90s.
Hard to even break away and focus back on our next rider, but we got an exciting one up at the top right now. Ben Thompson, we've already seen huge combos out of him, most notably in the Park District on that step up. If he could squeeze out that combo on that small of a jump, what's he gonna do on this big step up?
There we go, good to see that FPV back in the air. They've got quick, the engineers straight on that. We're gonna get drone angles. We're not gonna miss anything. Look at them like debriefing Griff about his enormous trick. I'll always remember that.
I know, I wasn't expecting that. Like maybe a double flip with one of those variations, but both, and both of them are clicked.
Yeah.
Great execution and extension.
And in 2 different rotations. So he kind of does a backflip X-up and then a backflip no-hander. It's like 2, it really is 2 tricks bolted together.
That's taking full advantage of what that jump is there for.
Yeah, airtime means more tricks. So again, some of the riders waiting at the top here for quite a nasty crosswind right now, which is going to affect them on the flat drop and the step down if anyone chooses to ride it. But the big air jump looking quite protected. So really, It's a question of when it's safe to hit the drop, it's safe to hit everything else.
And I mean, really, we are lucky that this wind is cooperating in the sense that it is gusting and then lulling. So these riders have the ability, the luxury to just sit there and wait and drop when it's good. And thank goodness the drop is the only one that is exposed to the wind. As we said before, that step up is blocked by City Hall, which is something we never say at most slopestyle competitions.
No, I know.
Hey, thank goodness we got City Hall blocking the wind for us.
Here we go, thumbs up.
Yeah!
Oh, the front flip! How are we seeing so many fragile front flips? A 360 bar spin to double downside tail whip. He gets the pedals, and that's a good trick. A downside tail whip.
There we go, Benny T.
Pipe. Yeah, boy. So, we've had 3 riders do these massive front flips off that flat drop.
Yeah.
So it's a huge scoring trick, but it's being seen a lot now. But where he separated himself from the rest of the field was on the big air jump. He did a 360 bar spin to double down whip. All is regular for Ben Thompson, the way he kicks it, but that trick just looks amazing. It's so complex. I want to see the way he leaves the ground here.
Yeah.
Oh, he just rolls his weight forward and actually goes up before coming back down.
These guys are getting so good at front flipping off of flat drops. It's ridiculous.
Right, look. Bar spin. Kicks the bike down, not once, but twice. Pedal, pedal.
Got it.
Almost bounced in the soft dirt, but it's enough to be, I'd consider that a perfectly clean landing.
Those feet did not touch the ground. Here we go. We'll get a real good look at the feet here.
Oh, man, that's all good. Solid. And then these tricks are only possible on jumps this big. And then a downside tail whip on the quarter pipe is good enough to not be marked down. I don't know whether it's enough to like add loads to the district.
It beats an X up.
It certainly beats an X up. And his front flip on the drop was the cleanest we've seen, I'd say. Yeah, he landed just perfect, barely even compressed.
Yeah, who'd have thought we'd be seeing this many riders doing front flips off the flat drop? And that's why the judges spend so much time watching practice, so they don't just award huge points the first time they see it. They knew a lot of riders had that.
Yeah, you called it, Cam. You must have seen, you've been on Instagram, hey?
Seen it a little bit on Instagram, seen it a little bit out there in practice in person. You look the wrong way, you missed it though. Oh yeah.
So that's the second highest Big Air District score.
Hey, crazy to think how heavy they're weighing that quarter pipe.
Dude, yeah, it's moved him into 6th. He is in. He's in the running right now to ride this entire course again in finals.
Kind of cool. It didn't affect Griffin, though.
So true, yeah, because Griffin's 2nd district.
It's got that little buffer there, being in 4th out of 6 qualifiers. Okay. Tim Bringer, the guy who goes high off of even the smallest features on the course. How high will he go off of the biggest?
I'm stoked for Ben Thompson. He only scored 64 points in the 2nd district, which is a really low score, but he's made it up. He's actually made up from that low score, from a massive performance there.
Maybe gives a little hope for a guy like Nicholi Rogatkin, who posted a 61.66 in his lowest scoring district.
Tim Bringer. I mean, when you weigh as much as a mountain, you're not as worried about the wind. But
the wind is worried about him.
And well, his hair. It's a good wind sock, his hair, isn't it? But
who needs the wind sock?
Yeah. All eyes on the top of the course.
Yep, 2 big wins last season at diamond level slopestyle events on the Crankworx World Tour. He took the overall slopestyle world championship. Didn't come to the first 2 events this year, so this is the first time we're seeing Tim Bringer on the World Tour. It's great to have him back. He's been exciting already in the first 2 districts.
Now you can see those locks blowing in the wind.
I mean, he's been growing that out. It's getting longer since we last saw him last summer.
So Tim Bringer scored a 72 in District 1. Not a huge score, but he made up with it with a 94.8 in the Park District.
Yeah, I mean, he's really within striking distance right now.
If he can get to the end, we're most certainly going to see him.
What is he going to choose on this step up?
I don't know. I don't even know what he's going to do on the drop. Flat flip.
I kind of like not knowing right now. I kind of like being curious.
I'm going to call a flat drop flip something on the drop.
I'm gonna call crazy flip combo on the step up.
Maybe a double flip combo. Like he'd have seen Griffin Paulson get a huge score for a double flip maneuver.
I'm gonna call single flip with multiple tail ups and bar spins. That's my guess.
Game
I
on.
have no idea.
Flat drop backflip no hander, the first we've seen on the flat drop, and a flip double whip. Bam, you win that one. And a wall right tail whip. My favourite, absolute favourite use of that feature so far. You're right, Cam. The judges are gonna love that.
Yeah, seeing how heavy that quarter pipe is being weighed, that was a really smart trick choice. Hitting the wall ride and tail whipping out.
tricks inbrengen.
So a flat drop flip no hander, the only one we've seen. And when you can say it's the only one you've seen, you know it's going to score well.
Yep.
A flip double whip, perfectly executed, huge amplitude, not as complex as what we saw from Griffin Paulson, not as crazy as a cash roll tail whip bar spin, but where I think he really performed well was that final quarter pipe. Look at this.
Oh, I mean, that's got to be harder. I mean, gosh, a flip bar spin on a flat drop is incredibly complex, but that's might be harder. Here we go. Look at him laying out the body horizontal backflip with 2 tail whips. What do you think of the final runs? Do you think he's got the ability to squeeze something else in there after catching those pedals?
I think so, but again,
Crazy
an experienced rider, he probably knew that it's not worth risking it all, and actually, well, he's risked a lot, but if he wanted a bar spin, he can save that for his second run in the 6-man final, which I'm pretty sure we're going to see him move into.
Yeah, if he keeps riding at this level, he may pick up that dream shampoo sponsor he's been wishing for.
Yeah, the only guy to do a flat drop flip tuck. Whether or not it's harder than a flip bar, I don't know, but again, he's the only one to do it. So
also, if anybody else did do it, I highly doubt they would do it to the degree of extension that Tim Bringer just did it.
It takes so much power to flip a bike with no takeoff, and to add a no-hander is really sick.
And you're at the back of the bike, but in order to do that tuck no-hander, you got to get to the front of the bike after snapping that rotation in order to put the bars in your lap and take the hands off.
So many stages and levels to it.
Oh, Chopper, Judge, got his glasses on. That's how you know things are getting serious out here.
He's in the decimals. He's in the details right now.
Oh, yeah. Glasses are on. We're in the decimals.
So I think they're not discussing the drop. They're not discussing the big air jump. I think they're going to be discussing how to reward that wall ride tail whip. And here we go.
Oh, yeah.
93-6-1. Second place in the big air district and a net 4th place.
Wow, moving Griffin down 1, knocking Ben out of the top 6.
Yeah, Ben Thompson not sailing through to the final. But Tim Bringer's looking comfortable there with 4th.
Hey, I just heard word that our next rider will be dropping in from the other Roland.
Oh,
you hinted at it earlier. Look who we got next, Matt.
Erik Fedko choosing to use a totally different feature at the start. This is so important, okay? We're talking about use of course. We're talking about separating yourself from the rest of the field. There's not that many ways of doing that in the big air district, but he's going to hit a totally different takeoff, which can unlock totally different tricks.
That's it.
And if he's the only one doing it, he's going to score more for it. The only thing with this step down is it makes you go up before you come back down, which is it gives you such a big impact. This landing's quite flat and it's quite long. When you're coming down from a bigger height more vertically, you can really feel that force, and that is going to make it difficult for him to judge speed for the big air jump. So the long and short of it is he's taking a risk here by doing the step down.
But anytime you take these type of clever risks, you're opening up the opportunity for separating yourself from the rest of the field and potentially scoring higher.
Yeah. He wants to know what the wind's doing. He's just eager to get on with it. Here we go, dropping in. Let's see what this step down looks like. Backflip on the step down. It's a heavy landing, but it's a good landing. Double flip, no-hander. Nice. That's the best one I've ever seen.
Wow.
And a ginormous flare. Yes, Erik. Every district he's done just this to the top of the landing, getting that crowd support in that run.
So much air awareness, and for Erik Fedko, it's about execution. Sure, we've seen Griffin Paulson squeeze in an extra variation on his double flip, but did you see how slow those rotations were? How he never looked like he was sweating where he was in the midst of those 2 rotations, and how long he left those hands off for.
Yeah. Doing a no-hander in a double flip is extremely hard, but holding your hands off when you want to be pulling on those bars is even harder. So it was a backflip on the step down. Not the most difficult trick we've seen off the roof, but he's taken off a completely different ramp. We're going to leave the judges up to deciding what that's worth.
So slow in this first rotation.
Oh, it's magnificent. Sailing above City Hall
and
there.
Then he opens up to slow down a little bit. Just, I mean, a gymnast level of air awareness here, and the execution points are going to be going off.
Yeah, execution tick, amplitude tick, difficulty tick, and then a flare on the quarter pipe is solid, okay? So, where, you know, Griffin Paulson had an X up on top of that in the double flip, he only did an X up on the quarter pipe, whereas Erik's finished with a flare, a high flare, and landed perfect. So I think this is going to score really, really well.
Enough to go into the top 6 for the German rider.
No.
Oh, right into the top 3. An 87.66 is Erik Fedko's Big Air District score.
So my takeaway from that is he, in the Big Air District only, was 7th place. His 7th highest scoring run, which means the single backflip on the step down they didn't like over a bigger trick on the flat drop.
Well, we're seeing flip variations on the flat drop, and with the kicker, you would expect to see more flip variations. So if he's able to stay in the top, which he will now because we only have 2 riders left to go, then he'll be able to see if he can do a flip variation off of that.
So Erik Fedko into 3rd place, pushing Griffin Paulson into the danger zone, but he's still in the top 6.
Is it possible for Nicholi Rogatkin to post a high enough score in the Big Air District to make it into the top 6? He's got some big tricks in his back pocket that nobody else does.
He'd have to score, I think, 98. But if anyone can score 98 in a Big Air District, it is this gentleman. He's brought world's first to district ride on the Big Air jump. We know he can do 1440s. We know he can unlock big tricks on a quarter pipe. He's dropping into the flat drop with a front flip.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, Nicholi.
Come on, Nicholi.
1, 2,
there we go.
3, 4. Yeah! 14 Paulsons and a tail whip. Yes, Nicholi, get him, boy.
Okay. So within the maximum score per district of 100, it is mathematically possible, we think, and he's done everything within his power to accomplish that. Wow.
Yeah.
That's what we were hoping to see.
Yeah, I've got goosebumps. Nicholi's the guy that when it really matters, he is not backing down from a task like this. So let's have a look. Front flip on the drop, which we've seen from some riders, but let's not ignore how unbelievably sick that is.
Scrub the right amount of speed.
Huge points for that, and then let's just start spinning. 1, 2,
and keep
3.
spinning.
And then with it being a cork spin, there's number 4.
Wow, one of those rotations being a forward axis, kind of a front flip to begin things off, and then the rest of them spinning like a top. 3 spins amidst a front flip cork rotation, totaling 1,440 degrees of rotation.
Wow. 1,420, I'd say, with the way he bounced. His foot left the pedal but didn't touch the floor. The judges are going to have to be super critical on a run like this when it's so important with the outcome of whether or not he makes it to the final.
We'll call that one the coffee shop, the 1,420. 1,420.
When in Rome. Right, so that tail whip looked opposite, but Nicholi kicks them the irregular way, so it was regular for him. I mean, it's all to play for here. A front flip, a 1440.
Oh man, if he could have just landed that last jump in district number 1, he'd be cleanly sliding into the finals.
The fact that he's even fighting for a final spot here this closely with a crash in the first district shows what talent Nicholi is.
3 podiums already this year for the most veteran rider in the field. All right, what's it gonna be?
90.
93. Oh, 1 spot out. Oh, so close. Way to go, Nicholi.
Within touching distance.
Look, he just found out. Oh, I think he thought for a second that he had it.
He may have forgotten this unusual format.
Bwomp, 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 bwomp. No.
And if Nicholi had the chance to go again and ride all 3 districts, you just know that he'd have been fighting for that top spot.
I mean, come on. He could totally win this event.
I think it's the highest score we've seen in the entire contest, a 96.3. Yeah, go Nicholi, and it would have been the Big Air District too, of course, but there's our overall standings for the male category. We've got Dawid Godziek in 1st place, Huppert holding on to that podium spot with 2nd, and Erik Fedko in third.
Oh, so close. All right, with one more rider left to go, we've got Griffin Paulson in 6th, the bubble boy. The last rider with an opportunity to knock Griffin out of that final transfer spot is the young Australian Dane Folpp.
Yeah, Nicholi still struggling to cope with
Writhing.
how close he was to the 6-man final.
He's like, if my foot didn't come off, would I have maybe had enough points?
He was 2 points away out of a total of 250. Yeah, district ride, such a special competition for Nicholi, an experienced rider. But this is a new man at district ride. 360 bar spin on the drop. Oh, a double back, landing so well, and an alley-oop tail whip. Spinning left, traveling right on the quarter pipe. That was clean. Super, super clean. And with such limited ways of practicing for stuff like this, you know, who has an 11-story building to ride off? Who has a massive big air jump that leads into a quarter pipe? To be so new on tour and able to land those 3 tricks so well, he should be stoked.
Oh no, we're gonna see so much more from Dane Folpp the rest of the season as well. Kicked off the season with a 6th in Rotorua. Yeah, he and Jack Fike definitely just representing that next wave of talent we'll be seeing for years to come. Great double backflip, 1-footed can here. Let's see the extension. Yep, straight leg. Putting it to the top of the landing as well.
One of the smoothest landings on that jump we've seen in the entire comp, you know?
Yeah, great judgment of speed coming into that big old kicker. Oh, Nicholi.
Yeah, I feel the same.
Man.
What could have been? What could have been?
People's champ, man.
But
all right, score in Big Air District for Dane Folpp, 83.33. Dane outside of transfer position, 8th position, and of course we're taking 6. Oh wow, Nicholi Rogatkin wins the Big Air District, but unfortunately not enough to put him in the top 6. And a chance to duke it out for the win. It's safe to say Nicholi Rogatkin will have a 7th place here as our top 6 will have an opportunity to go ride all 3 districts again. 1 run on each, and we will crown our winners in both the women's and the men's categories here at Red Bull District Ride Groningen, Netherlands. The return of Red Bull District Ride after a 4-year hiatus. It's so great to have this event back. So here's some of our highlights from run number 1 across all 3 of those districts that you just talked through, Matt.
So yeah, that's the dual district right there. Out the whale tail, Jake Atkinson, a 360 double bar spin. Those 2 kickers at the end, our local hero there, Pim going to the moon on a front flip. The whale tail just towering above the streets, and this crowd have been so alive and so into this event. The Netherlands has never had a slopestyle event like this, and they've flocked to the streets to watch some of this. Erik Fedko there with a 360 Superman seat grab out of the whale tail. Now we move on to the Park District with that ginormous cannon gapping across the Big Air District. We've seen front flips on it, 360 tail whips, Pim with the old school nothing. We've also seen our fair share of crashes. And with a judging format that just punishes mistakes, any of those riders making those big mistakes, unfortunately not making it through to the final. Look at that, 360 tail whip off the cannon. And now, for me, the main event, the Big Air District, where we saw Alma with that massive backflip bar spin. The first time women have taken to Red Bull District Ride, and they put on a hell of a show. Natalia there crashing on a front flip. And this man, favourite for the win for sure, with a cash roll tail whip to bar spin cam.
And to think he's got more.
We know he has more.
If somebody puts the pressure on, we know he's going to dig a little bit deeper into that bag of tricks on that big air district. Yeah, what do you think, man? I think now that they've gone through a run on each district, they kind of understand how to strategize. What features the judges really care about? What are some of the little subtleties that matter? I think we're going to see these riders approach these districts maybe a little bit differently in the final runs.
Absolutely, yeah. Pim there going for that nothing front bike flip. And this got us out of our seats, Cam. A double backflip, X up to no-hander. But to your point, so the qualifying is the first time the riders have had a chance to see what the judges like and what they don't like. And in a judge sport that's half based on psychology and pleasing the judges, you have to tailor your riding to what they enjoy and what they like. One of those tricks, of course, was Nicholi Rogatkin's 1440. The only man on earth spinning that in competition. One of the highlights of this entire event for me, and the massive celebration.
I mean, it's kind of like a throwback to Red Bull District Ride tradition, having Nicholi do a 1440 in 2017, 2022, and now here today in 2026.
Finals.
So if you're just joining us, yeah, there's some highlights from qualification rounds. You've seen our 3 different districts. Let's talk about the format for today's competition. It's a little bit different than other slopestyle competitions. We have found ourselves in the Netherlands. What a cool city Groningen is. We've trimmed our field down from 15 in the men's, down from 6 in the women's to 6 and 3. We've got to know these 3 districts, the dual, the park, and the big air districts. And we've seen how we send the riders for one run on each.
Reverse order. So we're going to see our
cool
favorite drop in last, yeah.
Yep. It was a random drawn order for run number 1. Now will be reversed, so with your highest scored riders based on the scores from the judges dropping last. Of course, each district scored out of a max score of 100. Add them up, max score of 300. Judges looking for big tricks high above the ramps. Well executed, not the same trick on every jump, good variety. And we will make history by the end of the day today. We will have a new winner for the men because we don't have our only returning champion, Nicholi Rogatkin, in our finals. And with this being the first year for the women's category, we'll be making history there as well. So the course crew making any last minute adjustments needed to the dirt features out here. And look at this. All right, yep, getting word in my ear right now that the women are not going to be taking their final run. So these results from run number 1 will be the finals. Alma Wiggberg taking the gold medal. Sounds like Pascal is standing by with your champion.
Alma Wiggberg, congratulations. You are the first women or winning Red Bull District Ride. How does it sound for you?
I'm really hyped. I have had a really good time at this event.
Can you take us through your week?
Firstly, I just focused on getting confident on the course, and then yesterday I did most of my basic tricks, and then today I tried to figure out my combos.
No, that sounds amazing. One more thing, I think there is so many girls watching this now. What would you tell to them?
Just have fun biking.
Oh, that's lovely. Thank you so much, Alma. Cameron, we are making history, women's on Red Bull District Ride.
Love to see it. Alma Wiggberg putting another feather in her cap. She has 2 Red Bull Joyride gold medals and now a big win at the first ever women's event, Red Bull District Ride. She is on a tear, Matthew.
Absolutely, and we get to look back now at her winning 3 districts. That was the dual district there, dropping into this spine way above the streets. She did a massive suicide no-hander off of this cannon. And we've said before, but Red Bull District Ride really is for the most well-rounded, complete, highly skilled rider in so many areas. You know, this big air district is so difficult to train for. Like, how often are you hitting jumps like this? And she did a massive backflip bar spin and a nice toboggan on that quarter pipe. Like, really 3 districts that are all pretty different. To come out on top in all 3, you are crowned the most complete rider.
Yep. You know what I love about her interview is that when Pascal asked her, what she'd like to say to the next wave of talent of girls who are maybe being inspired by the success of Alma. She said, go have fun on your bike. That's where it all starts, and if you can keep that as your focus, that's where it can continue. And you can tell every competition, you know there's pressure out there, you know she feels it, but she tries to think back, all right, let's figure out a way to have some fun with this today. And it really does pay off, doesn't it?
Yeah, you can tell she's able to stay calm, composed, block out the pressure. And I think often the most calm, composed rider on the start is the one that can take the win. There's so much of a head game in these competitions, especially with 3 different districts. You're having to start a competition run 3 times over and make it to the finish line with massive tricks. That's a difficult undertaking that's very unique. It's not like any other slopestyle event. With Alma's experience and skill, she was able to do that 3 times over and be crowned the Red Bull District Ride winner here.
And also you're seeing, Alma's success is undeniable, but you're seeing the next wave of talent rise up through the ranks. Johanna Nussbaumer, she's been so impressive this year, a first in Rotorua. She was so far ahead that they didn't even do the trick showdown because nobody was within 10 points of Johanna, and for her to grab a podium spot out here today, it's still such a young season. So Alma is so consistent, but she's got that next wave of talent who's inspired by her, who are coming up and going to really put the pressure on.
Oh, massively, Natalia Niechvec with that huge front flip, what could have been, the women's field is really heating up. But this, I'm so excited for. The men's final 6 riders. Griffin Paulson will drop in first, Tim Bringer, Jack Fike.
Yeah, reverse start order. So lowest score from qualification rounds, dropping first. Highest score, hot seat, rider to beat, will be David Godziek. He'll get to watch the rest of the field in all 3 of these districts and plan accordingly.
Yeah, such an advantage dropping in last when you're the qualifying winner. That first place spot allows you just to, observe, see what everyone else has got and decide how hard you have to push to maintain that first place, which Godziek might not be able to do because we have 6 unbelievable and totally different riding style athletes right here. Griffin Paulson will be our first rider to take to the dual district. It wasn't a district he performed best in qualifying, but he will have learned from that. He'll have totally figured out what the judges like to see, having watched all these men and women ride these districts, and hopefully he's going to design and engineer a run around that. Looking like a little bit of wind in those flowers behind.
Well, Griffin Paulson, the bubble boy, making it into the final transfer position. She will be the first rider to drop.
I think it's such a unique thing to bring slopestyle to an urban environment and into a city plaza like this. I'm gonna soak it all up and have the time of my life out here.
Oh yeah, that is an accomplishment to make it in that top 6. Griffin had to earn it, making it happen in that big air district with that double backflip, picks up to tuck no-hander. Now he gets to line up again in the dual district.
So this is the final, but their qualifying scores are still on the board. So we've already got 6 scores from 6 riders. He's going to have to beat his first score and beat some of the other scores to move up out of 6th position, but he is in the final with more to give. And I'm excited to see our first finalist take to this dual district.
Yeah, well, if I'm thinking back to his first run in the dual district, that was, if I remember correctly, his lowest scoring district.
Indeed.
Came out of the bull section with a little less speed than ideal. I think he just straight 360 the final jump. He wanted a variation there, so he knows where he can clean it up. Let's see if he can do so.
Yeah, I think he finished, just with a 360 bar spin, but in that hip and that spine section, he wasn't dropping big tricks and he wasn't choosing to gap the whole way over the hip. It maybe didn't have the value of what other riders brought to the first district. But where Griffin really sets himself apart is jumping in and out of that first whale tail. And we're about to see just why he's found his way into the final. Oh, a single backflip in. And a backflip out. Okay, so Griffin not bringing the heat that he brought in qualifying with some straight airs. And perhaps the reason is this isn't his favourite district, or he's happy with the first score, or just happy to be in finals, you know? There's 5 riders ahead of him, and unless he can beat those 5 scores, he was going to stay in 6th position anyway.
And that's also something to consider. There may be some districts that the riders know they can improve, and other districts where they're like, hey, I don't want to have to double backflip out of this whale tail again. I'm good.
Yeah, totally. And maybe in another district, he's got something he just wants to do for the crowd or himself. So keep your eyes on Griffin, but with that run there, it looks like he's not going to be moving up out of 6th place in this final.
Yeah, that's one big factor of having run 1 scores roll over into the finals.
But if you're just joining us, you get to take a look at the first district and the layout of this course. Super unique with that hip, shark fin, berm option. Riders in qualifying are able to ride that in 4 unique ways to impress the judges.
So yeah, Nicholi will hold on to that 73.63 from run number 1. The next rider to drop is going to be Tim Bringer. Can he improve?
So currently in 5th spot.
We are back for district ride. Course looks super sick and super different to what we have, so let's go, let's end it.
Ja, en onze athletes
Tim Bringer. 5th place overall after run 1 in all 3 districts. He came out swinging in the dual district in run number 1. It'll be interesting to see if he's looking for more, or if he sits on his run 1 score like we saw from Griffin Paulson.
And here we go, double backflip into the whale tail. This is massive. 360 triple bar spin, a 270 landing right at the top of that hip.
Oh yeah, he's got his foot on this
360 table you could eat. And a Castro. That was the run he came here to do. He didn't manage to land it perfect in qualifying, but right there, you saw it executed perfectly.
Oh man, he's been thinking about that mistake from run number 1 in the dual district all day long. So great to see him have the opportunity to clean it up.
Yeah, amazing to see Tim find his way into the final to improve on those qualifying runs. A double backflip into a whale tail is so insane because look how tight that transition is. You immediately are blasted out of the whale tail. He did a 360 triple bar spin. Now, if we have a look at this hip, he's chose to make 2 tricks out of what could be 1. He's done a 270 no-hander and landed right at the top.
High.
And that gave him speed for the highest 360 table we've seen on that spine, potentially the highest we've seen anyone go on the spine. And now we get to see what he wanted on the last jump, a cash roll. A man with a BMX background, super technically advanced, but able to bring the amplitude and the difficulty too.
in that dual district. Yes, Tim.
Yeah, we know this is going to score higher than his first run through the dual district. The big question is how much? What is the score? 94.33. I will say that is the score he's going to hold on to. Throw away that 72.66. Way to go, Tim Bringer.
One of the highest scores we've seen in the whole entire competition, so the judges loved that.
10th ranked rider in the world. 4th ranked rider from run number 1. This is Jack Fike.
My approach, honestly, just an open mindset, you know, seeing what the jumps are like, seeing how everything rides. Just gonna come out here and get creative.
Yeah, Jack. I mean, the youngster making it in the top 6. This is a huge accomplishment for him. He's in a group of legends out there. This top 6 is a very exclusive club.
Oh yeah, he's found himself amongst the big boys. A 360 double downside tail whip. He's upped it in the finals. And a backflip triple bar spin. This is incredible.
Yes.
270X up, opposite 360X up. And on the final jump, opposite 360 tail whip. An opposite 360 tail. Honestly, for such a young rider to put all of that on the table and deliver it so perfectly, he has got a bright future, and he's just proved it in the dual district.
Oh, man.
There's so much to break down about that run.
Breakout performance here for Jack Fike. Break it down, Matt.
So a 360 double downside tail whip into a whale tail. If you don't catch the pedals perfectly, you're doomed. And he did, because he did a backflip, triple bar spin out. So already whale tail on lock. The best we've seen on that, I'd say. That's super tech. That is so advanced. And then we've got the next feature where you can gap the whole way over the bowl. But he did a 270 up and an opposite 360 on the spine, and that is an opposite 360 tail whip. So using regular tricks, opposite tricks, all of which were super high difficulty. How is that going to stack up against Tim Bringer? What do you think, Cam?
Man, it's gonna be close, but Bringer had huge bangers in there. This is where we're gonna see what the judges favor. Big banger tricks or opposite optimization.
So the use of course was identical. They both jumped into the wall ride and used the spine. I'd say Tim's amplitude was bigger. But Jack choosing to do some opposite tricks as well. Really difficult one to judge.
Real level of cleanliness in that run.
And 89.16 is his score in the dual district. So a few points off of Tim Bringer. Clearly they're rewarding just that super dialed landings.
Oh, he was the third place rider in District Ride 2022. He's already got a big win on the tour so far this year. He was third from qualifications, Erik Fedko.
I'm trying to make it clean, try to do as many combos as possible, and try to stand out with a bit more skate park moves, because that's where I come from.
Man, we call this guy the master of consistency, but when you look at the stats, you actually see how true it is. Third place in the last district ride. He's third place from qualification today. But I'd say he's elevated his entire game this season, taking a first big win on the Crankworx World Tour earlier this year. Here we go, second run here in the dual district.
Oh no!
No!
Oh, he didn't get that tail whip. He went for a 360 bar spin to tail whip and just didn't kick it hard enough. Definitely going to hurt landing on that solid wooden landing from that height, but good to see him survive and still be up there between the barriers. We know Erik had more to give in this final, and the dual district wasn't his favorite from the first runs. So it's such a shame to not see and not understand what he was going to produce there. I mean, the crowd looking on, you've got to think how high this whale tail is above the streets. They can't imagine what it's like to crash up there on the edge of something so tall. Let's have a look at what happens. So he's carving, gets the bar spin, but then as he kicks the tail whip, it's like his front foot just got in the way.
Oh, it's like he wasn't far enough away from the bike. He was so close to that front tire. Just got wrapped up in there. You see him holding his right hand. You see that hand kind of take the majority of the impact, hoping that hand is all right. Testing it still there on the fence. Oh man, he's been so consistent all week long. Hoping that hand is okay, and we'll see Fedko back on the bike soon. The fact that he's able to use it to climb down the ladder is a good sign.
So Fedko's qualifying run score will hold. We'll see what that works out at, but we've got the next rider now.
So Lucas Huppert, the second place rider overall from qualification. Here we go.
Yeah, I'm stoked to be back at District Ride, new location, and I can't wait to see the big crowd cheering for us. Yeah, you go for crazier stuff, that's for sure.
Yes.
Hoopy elevating his game this year. Second place from run one through all three districts. Now with an opportunity to up that score.
He's been so impressive throughout this competition, so clean, so dialed. And he's found his way into the six-man final. Let's see if he can raise the bar.
Oh, he's already got his best district ride result ever. He was 7th in 2022. Can't finish any lower than 6th here today. Hoopy on course.
Front flip, double bar spin. Brand new trick for me. And a double tail whip out on the whale tail. That's amazing. 270 tail whip, landing high, landing timing perfect. A double bar spin, and he's going into the bigger kicker.
Nice!
He has stepped it up.
Yeah, Hoopy, flawless.
Front flip double bar spin into the whale tail. I mean, front flip bar spin in qualifying was already super advanced, but finding time for 2.
Yeah, look how high he pops in order to buy that time.
Yeah, you have to. This whale tail's so stepped up to kind of get above the landing and give yourself time for those sorts of tricks. Takes so much pop and so much height. Perfect double tail whip there. Now this trick is going to get scored really high. Up onto that wall ride, spinning to the left. He did a 270 tail whip.
Another nice touch, getting into the big lip on this final jump.
Yeah, that won't go unnoticed. We saw Tim bring a cash roll the smaller takeoff, but Hoopy doing it off the bigger one. It's a game of inches. There's 2 decimal points on the scores, and all of it counts.
Yeah. Waiting for the score here. Hoopy's second pass through the dual district, district number 1, with 2 more districts to go. 1 more rider left to drop here in the dual district. Score coming in, a 92.33 for Lucas Huppert.
More than his score in qualifying, his first run score in that district, so he's able to push those numbers closer to the maximum, and he's going to be a threat. He's going to be a threat to first place here.
The leader after the qualifying rounds from Poland, Dawid getting ready for his...
The man who's been at the top of the leaderboard all day. Here we go. This is David Godziek.
My plan for this event is just having fun and do my best in the runs. Big jumps, big tricks. Everything looks so proper and well built. I wish we had it here forever.
Dawid is er klaar voor. Als eerste gekwalificeerd en dan wilde zo houden.
So Godziek able to sit and watch the other 5 finalists before it's his turn on each district, which is an important advantage actually in this competition. But we've seen the scores have gone up, the scores have got higher. His first place is under threat, and what's he going to do about it? A front flip bar spin, the tight no-hander into the whale tail, and a cash roll out, almost running out of real estate, and then the first rider to jump the hip with a double downside tail whip.
Oh my!
And a 360 suicide double bar spin on that last jump, off the bigger kicker. Of course, he carried so much speed from that double tail whip on the hip, jumping over the bowl.
So dialed. Somebody's been doing their homework. You can tell by just his mannerisms at the top of the run. He was not going to just sit on his run 1 score.
Look at that. This is such an insane use of a whale tail. Front flip bar spin to no-hander. And then just as you land, you've got to figure out a cash roll, which is like pretty much a 360 front flip.
He scared us on the rider's right side of that whale tail landing earlier today. He was a little closer to the side even this run. And that's alley-ooping as well. He's spinning to the left and transferring to the right, and then just perfection, Ryan Nyquist style on that 360 Sui no-handed double bar spin.
Oh, he's gone up.
He does it.
A 93.33, pushing his score even higher.
Oh, you know, he just wants to continue at this rate of just incrementally bettering his score in all 3 districts.
But not enough to beat Tim Bringer, who in the dual district has taken the lead away.
Good point. Bringer is rapidly approaching. He's saying, all right, I'm gonna sit back here and take note of what everybody's doing, and then finals is when I'm gonna start chipping away at you guys. This is far from over. As we take a look at our overall standings right now, after run 1 in district run from our finals round, Godziek still at the top of the leaderboard with 278 points combined. He betters his score from the dual district as the riders make their way over to the Park District, taking all the knowledge gained from run number 1, the qualifications, trying to figure out where they can squeeze some more points out of the judges in this district. Tim Bringer posting the highest score in his second pass through district number 1. We saw him absolutely blasting the 360 table, mega amplitude out of the spine in run number 1 on the Park District. All right, let's see what he's got for us here. His second pass through the Park.
He's going to be feeling confident now with one district out the way and on lock. He's just got to continue delivering at this insane level. So, man, no strangers to skate parks, Tim Bringer, but this one's high speed, high velocity. Wow! A massive 3 invert to the moon. He comes into the cannon with a backflip no-hander off of that super flat transition. Oh! A 360 bar spin to double tail whip and a perfect decade. I mean, there's execution and then there's what we just saw. It was amazing.
What?
That 360 table on the spine was like a delight to watch. So high above the entire town.
Yeah, potentially even higher than run number 1.
Here we go. So, pulling right back out of that spine. I mean, there's the BMX background, but the style he brings to his tricks is super unique. Making your tricks look good is more of an art than learning them in the first place, and the judges really study that and really focus on that. The extension on that no-hander, on that backflip no-hander, was unbelievable. Now this was my highlight, 360 tail whip and 2 bar spins with so little time.
See him squeezing onto the frame with his heels to stay attached to that bicycle.
He squeezed every drop out of that run and a 95.13.
Wow. What is he doing here in the finals?
I mean, honestly, looking to take the win.
Yeah, absolutely.
These guys won't probably know what tricks he's just done.
Yeah.
The most rudimentary elevator we've ever seen.
You imagine those two sitting in there going, all right, the crowd got loud. We don't really know what he did, but doesn't change our plan. We're still going to do our best run we can imagine here in this district number 2, the Park. Jack Fike strategizing his second pass through here. Just getting word right now that Griffin, Paulson, and Erik Fedko aren't going to take their next runs.
Understandable with Erik having a big crash in the whale tail. Griffin clearly being happy with 6th place in this amazing competition, but this man, Jack Fike, should be so proud to have found himself into the final. What's he got on this course? 1, 2, a backflip double bar spin, carrying enough speed for the cannon. He's going to do a 360 double bar spin. Massive off-axis 3 tail whip. Oh, he's gone massive. Okay, and an opposite truck driver. So a really, really well-packaged run where all the tricks complement each other. A backflip double bar spin and a 360 double bar spin go together really well. And then a 360 tail whip and a switch 3 bar spin on the last. Super sick run.
Yeah, he's a curator of a well-balanced slopestyle run. You can tell he thinks big picture, first feature to last feature.
And to be so young and so new to the sport, but able to have that variety of tricks to create these amazing runs, it's not surprising he's found himself into the final. And with Erik and Griffin Paulson not taking to these 2 districts in the Big Air district, Jack Fike is going to be a guaranteed 4th place, I think.
Yeah, as long as he... The fact that he rode this district pretty much solidifies that, because...
Well, actually, the first run scores...
The first runs count,
yeah, the first run scores count, so he's still going to have to get to work in the Big Air district. So...
There we go, so Jack...
An 83.33 in the Park district, 2nd place in this district. Next up, we've got Huppert, a tech wizard, who's going to love these skate park features. I mean, they're barely skate park features. They're like they're on steroids. They're so fast and so big. Having ridden this course, it really is big air time, and it's tricky, but there's time for big tricks.
Yeah, it's a stretch to refer to it as skate park, but it's you know, city version of slopestyle features, skate park features on steroids is what we're looking at here in this district. So Lucas Huppert closing his eyes, visualizing this run here in the Park District.
Here we go. 3 double bar. He's landed pretty good. It's super hard to carry speed for this Kaidan. He's 3-whipped it, which is massive points. Oh, 720. Couldn't have landed nicer.
To the top.
And a 360 down whip there, like we saw from Tim Bringer on the final hip. Bringer, of course, our current leader in this district. Huppy taking notes, figuring out what the judges like. And that cork 7, for me, was a highlight. For that, he travels across. It almost feels like there's a risk of coming over that handrail.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's great we got that plexiglass there, but you still don't want to make contact with it. That would send the run into a screeching halt.
That cannon, they should almost call it the diving board with the bounce it's got in it. When you pop for a 3-whip like that, it just sets the whole thing going like a springboard.
It's got a bit of a boing factor. All right, so right now, overall results looking like Tim Bringer in the lead. Obviously, the rest of the field still gets a chance to better their score here in the Park District. Jack Fike sitting in 2nd place right now, waiting for this run's score from Lucas Huppert. See if he can move into the top 3. Sitting in
with a 92.33, I think he's going to do it. Let's have a look.
Ooh! Here we go, score coming in. A 90.58, moving Lucas Huppert into 2nd place overall.
Yeah, that'll do it. That's incredible. He's been so impressive to watch this year, and this competition, I feel like, is molded for his skills, you know? Spines, quarter pipes, big jumps, small jumps. Huppy's got such a variety of tricks. Such a well-rounded skill set for an event like this.
All right. If David Godziek's performance in his 2nd pass through district number 1 was any indication, you know he wants to better his score here in district number 2. He's an absolute strategist. We got his big brother, Szymon Godziek, on course right now, a district ride legend as well as a Red Bull Rampage legend. Spends most of his time on the full suspension, big bikes in the mountains these days. But of course he's out here cheering on his brother, David Godziek, on course.
360 triple bar spin, that's the most we've seen on that jump. 3-whip, he looks like he wanted a bar spin there. 1, 2, 3, a triple tail whip. Foot goes down, but what's he got on the open loop? Oh, super dipped. Alley-oop, 360 bar spin. The only one we've seen use the course in that way. It wasn't 100% clean, but we made up for it with massive bangers, huge tricks. It's gonna score high. But honestly, this is a really, really tight final. Godziek here with a 360 triple bar spin. And this 3-whip, he looked like he gripped for a bar spin. That was the one where the foot came off the pedal. I don't know if it touched the floor. The judges are going to be looking at all of that in detail.
Oh, this would be a good angle they see here. He catches early. Yep, a little bobble of the pedal there, but gets back on before touching down to the landing.
Yeah, maybe he wasn't pinching for a bar. He was just trying to get his feet set.
Yeah.
So this score's going to be really interesting. Sometimes in slopestyle, the first place rider going into the final runs. 1, 2, 3, yeah.
Ooh, it sounds like the judges really are getting some extra replays here to see what was going on with the feet. We're gonna get a great angle of this as well. This is what the judges are seeing. We're gonna see that guy getting a great shot for himself there.
It was super clean, actually. And he did use the quarter pipe at the end, which is unique. But he has to fight for this. He was the leader coming into the 6-man final, but all of the other riders have stepped it up. They're boosting their scores.
Oh, yeah, I mean, what's it gonna be here?
Let's just check that again. Oh, he was actually perfectly on pedals.
This is the one, though. This is the one. Watch the left foot.
It was
lifts up, but it doesn't touch the ground.
No, it was, yeah. I mean, they might mark it down marginally, but it would be cruel to take loads of points away for that.
Yeah, they'll mark down if the foot comes off the pedal. They'll mark down more, deduct more points if that foot touches the ground. But we're seeing everybody in the field right now who's taking their runs up the ante.
Yeah.
We've got David Godziek right now sitting outside that top spot. This score really matters with one district left to go.
Absolutely. We talked about whether Godziek was going to have to push really hard in these districts, especially the Big Air district. So he gets a 91.93, which is second place right now in the Park district.
And look at that, that moves him into second place in the overall right now. So the pressure applied by Tim Bringer is really changing the game.
Okay, so this isn't one of those slopestyle competitions where the winner going into finals can sit back and relax. Everyone is having to do the work here. Tim Bringer is mixing up the leaderboard, he's mixing up the rankings, and we have one district to go, and it's our favorite. It's the Big Air district.
Oh, the stage is set. Yeah, David Godziek will be the final rider to drop. Of course, everybody has an opportunity to better their score on this district from run number 1. But we kind of had a feeling we'd be going into the Big Air district with David Godziek dropping, you know, from that hot seat position.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, with such an amazing first 3 districts in our qualifying round, you know, it looked like Godziek was going to be able to take it steady, but not this time. And in qualifying, we saw him do a cash roll tail whip to bar spin. An unbelievable combo.
I'm going to say we're going to see him have to go for that here, right?
He's going to have to do the cash roll windshield wiper, and he's going to have to land it too.
And that's because of Tim Bringer just methodically upping the ante here in the finals.
Let's see.
The world champion from the 2025 season, absent from the first 2 big diamond level slopestyle events of the 2026 season, picking up right where he left off last year.
So for this Big Air district, we have a huge drop, a massive airtime jump, and a quarter pipe at the end with a wall ride.
Oh, Tim goes first.
In qualifying, we saw Tim. He needs 89 points for first. That's within reach. That's within touch. He can disrupt.
Oh, big time.
The order here.
He can catch pedals early on that flip double whip and chuck a bar. I have a feeling.
Is he going to go for it?
I don't know. We're moments away from finding out, though, and I am not leaving this screen.
So in his first qualifying run, we saw him use the wall ride with like a wall bang tail whip. Super unique, super creative way of using this course. It was scored well. And these 3 features stand between him right now and a possible first place at District Ride.
Yeah, let's think. We had a flat drop backflip tuck no-hander on the first feature, backflip double tail whip on the second feature, and that wall ride to tail whip. I'm gonna say that the Big Air jump, the second feature, is the one where he's going to try to get some more points.
Turn the dial up a little bit.
And that's good for us.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, you can really see the crowd filling back in. They kind of took a break to go grab a snack in between qualifications and finals, and they're back right now because they know this is the main attraction.
So we've had a lot of crosswinds throughout the day up on this first drop. So the riders are being patient and waiting for that to die. But the big jump, the Big Air moment is pretty protected from the wind from City Hall. And here we go, dropping in. A flat drop, backflip, no-hander. Can he control his speed? The backflip double tail. This is massive.
Come on.
Oh, there's the wall right tail. He stops the run.
No way.
Tim Bringer certainly takes first place for now. He could have just stuck with a backflip double tail whip. Cam called it earlier that there was time for a bar spin, and he risked nothing. He did not risk. He risked everything, but he didn't risk someone having the top spot. He has taken the crown right now.
This guy, after such a huge season last year, missing the first 2 events and coming back doing this.
Massive extension on that no-hander. He's the only one doing the flat drop flip tuck today. Now watch this. He does 2 tail whips, catches the pedals well enough to throw a bar spin.
Oh my. And there was some time there.
Dude, he landed really nice. We've seen riders getting bounced around on this landing today. that from such a heavy combo is a beautiful landing. And honestly, one of my favorite parts of this whole run was the quarter pipe. He used the wall ride. He's the only one doing it. And you have to set yourself apart from the rest of the field, and Tim knows how to do it.
You really do. He chose such a great move on that quarter pipe to wall ride. I'm so glad that he didn't bobble that. I was thinking, all right, you got the hard part out of the way, get that wall ride to whip to pedals. Oh man, so much pressure on the judges right now.
He's going to score in the 90s in all 3 districts, and that's what it takes, you know. It takes perfection. It takes control, and it takes like such a calm-headed, cool-headed rider to put it all together. They have to sit at the top of 3 different starts, 3 different districts, and put it all together in order.
Here we go, the score coming in.
Wow!
5.26. Tim Bringer holds on to that top spot. So much pressure put on David Godziek.
That has put the cat amongst the pigeons, that's for sure.
Yeah, we got a show on our hands here, Matt.
Dude, David Godziek has just been, he's been riding so well all competition. I didn't honestly think anyone was going to be able to be a threat, but Tim Bringer's just proved that the win is anyone for the taking right here. Jack Fike finds himself in this super elite man's podium at District Ride on the final district.
Wow, Jack Fike right here needs a huge run. He needs a score, at least a 99.5 to move into podium contention. That may be without a reach for the young 19-year-old out of Canada right now. But man, he has to be proud of his performance here today, currently sitting in that 4th place spot. Jack Fike waiting on the wind. We saw him do that 360 bar spin to downside tail up on the step up in run number 1 in the Big Air District.
He's been riding clean all day, yes.
Yeah.
Clean. So perhaps just waiting for the wind, but the windsock looks pretty good. I guess he's going to drop in now.
What's Jack got for us?
Oh, no way! I didn't know that was possible on that drop. A flat drop.
Okay.
Backflip double bar spin. 360 bar. Oh, wow!
He came to play.
Oh, he's got jelly legs. You would do. Yeah. You would have jelly legs after such an unbelievable run. We're going to need a replay on all of that, but he kicked things off off of a flat drop with a backflip double bar spin. Such an advanced maneuver for such a young rider.
Oh, that just shows what we're going to see in the future for Jack Fike. Ups the ante on the drop and the step up. I was wondering if he was thinking truck to double down whip on that step up, because you saw, you know, he was really high in run number 1, and you thought, he overspun it. Maybe he wanted something more.
Yeah, that is preposterous. A flip double bar off a flat drop, and it's a hard flat drop. You have to really go quick. There's the 360 bar spin to double downside tail whip. Cam, you said Jack is super inspired by Emil Johansson's riding. It's a very signature trick we've seen from Emil, and he's won contests with that trick.
100%.
Jack bringing it to District Ride this year in 2026.
I'm trying to think of another time when I've seen a backflip double bar spin on a flat drop. And yes, this drop comes off the top of a building into a huge landing, but it's not, you know, as much airtime as we see on some of the flat drops where you see people doing flat drop flip variations. He had to squeeze that one out. Should have been the easiest part of the run right there.
It's so typical, isn't it? Tim Bringer was looking on there, looking stoked for Jack. The Big Air District. Oh, wow, they gave him a 94.5. He should be stoked with that.
Jack Fike in 4th place.
At his first Red Bull District Ride. That is unbelievable.
Wait, Jack Fike into...
Lucas Huppert. Been on the tour for years and years now. We've watched his riding progress. He's been adding new tricks, figuring out interesting ways of riding these unique courses. He needs a 95.5 to take second place. Now we know a 95 is possible, it's a huge score. Currently sat in third. Is he gonna push super hard to grow up to that second place? Or is he gonna play it safe and maintain that podium spot in third?
You see Lucas up there asking for the math, trying to decide what he's going to do based on where the scores sit.
That's a happy young man right there.
Oh, it should be.
That windsock blowing. It's such a crosswind as the wind whips down the streets here as you jump across that. As we've said before, the big air jump, which would usually be the most wind affected, is protected by City Hall here at this location. So they're safe on that one, but with the huge tricks required to maintain this podium, they need perfect conditions. They need to be composed, and sometimes waiting for that windsock to die can feel like eternity.
Lucas Huppert currently sitting third place overall. And the only rider left to drop after he takes this run will be David Godziek, who is ahead of him in second place. So Lucas Huppert guaranteed a podium right here. But if I know Hoopy, and I know the fact that he just came off of a big second place already, which is his highest result at a diamond level slopestyle event, he's gonna try to figure out how to get up and climb into a higher step of that podium.
An amazing first two districts from Hoopy, but he needs about 95 points to take second place.
I wonder where he would want to try to improve. He had the twister on the step up. I mean, he doesn't look like he's phoning this one in.
No, he's locked in, he's focused. That looks like a guy who wants to work his way from third to second.
Yeah.
I must say, across all of these districts in this competition, the riding level has just been unbelievable. There has been faultless runs. What's he saying? He's trying to work out the math. He's trying to suss out.
Yeah, this isn't the
place?
stoic look of a man who's content with third place.
One district stands between him and the outcome of this event. Tim Bringer just looking smug. But you can't fault anything in those runs. He squeezed every drop out of all three districts. And that's what it takes. The most well-rounded rider.
Ooh, the anticipation. So Huppert mathematically out of reach to take the win, but if he scores a 95.2 or better, he can move Godziek out of second place. Huppert guaranteed a third here. I love the determination. I'm just so curious what he's going to improve upon.
Here we go, dropping into the flat drop in the big air district, a 360 bar spin, killing a bit of speed. Oh, for a twister, landing magnificently at a 540 bar spin, higher than we've seen anyone go out of that quarter pipe in this six-man final. Is it going to be worth 95 points? That's the question.
I think
maybe not.
Lucas may have been looking to take the hands off on that twister. I'm not sure. We'll see from the body language on the replay.
So a 360 bar spin on the big drop.
Oh, yes!
Is he going to?
Dude, he's got a district-wide podium. There's no two ways about it.
He's like, take my helmet. I got a podium. This is great.
360 bar spin, probably not worth as much as Tim Bringer's flat drop flip.
Oh, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, the way he pushed his hips towards the bars.
Yep.
I'd say a tuck-and-a-hander was certainly at the front of his mind. This was super clean though, this 540 bar spin.
Can you imagine being capable of doing a twister, a front cork 1080, and thinking, all right, let's do that, but take our hands off. We need a couple more points.
We're about to find out.
A 91.8 there. Lucas Huppert stays in third place. You gotta give it to him. Congratulations on getting that podium there for Hoopy. We have one more rider left to drop. The rider with the #1 next to his name all day until we got into the finals, when Tim Bringer decided to turn up the heat, almost like in a road race when you see the rider break away and start trying to separate themselves and connect to that front of the pack. Now,
dude, I think it said he needs 99 points for first.
No way.
I haven't run the math.
We got to get that graphic back up on screen. Here we go, big bro Szymon Godziek right now, feeling the pressure for his younger brother.
Oh my word, this is tense.
We know what trick he wants. We got to see what he needs to move back into the lead, and then we got to ask ourselves, if he lands that trick, will it be enough? He's going to be looking, most likely, speculation purely, of course, but a cast roll, windshield wiper, a cast roll, which is the front cork 720, with tail-ups going both directions. Catch a tail-up, kick it back the other way.
Yeah, while managing a cast roll.
Come on.
One district, 3 features. Huge points are required to dethrone Tim Bringer, but if anyone on earth can do that here in the Big Air District, it's this man, Dawid Godziek, dropping in a backflip bar spin on the flat drop.
Here we go.
Cash roll, tail whip, both ways, landing a bit sloppy.
What?
And a double bar spin. Oh my goodness.
Look at Tim, says fair play. Golf clap, bravo. Oh,
he did. Man. That's the world's first. No matter what the result, no one has ever done a cash roll windshield wiper in a slopestyle competition, but you just saw one landed right there on the big air jump. David's made some history there.
Wow.
Tim Bringer looking pretty nervous, actually, because
I mean, how about the timing here? Perfect evening light, the biggest moment of the day. Godziek drops in with the flat drop backflip bar spin into this, Matt.
A cash roll, so like a front cork, 360 front flip.
Oh,
he does a tail whip one way, he boots it the other way.
Why did it look so much?
Oh my word, his foot just brushes the floor. He kills a bit of speed on that landing. But we just saw history right there. That's going to be talked about for years. A cash roll windshield wiper right here at District Ride. Unfortunately, I don't want to say unfortunately, but if I was a judge, I'd be really studying that landing. Oh, and look, Godziek's face, his brother's face there, showing kind of a bit of concern around whether he was going to ride it across the finish line.
I mean, everybody down there knew what he had to go for. The big question now, the pressure was on Godziek. Pressure now transferred over to the judges. How much will they dock him for that foot slip?
And the double bar spin on the last quarter pipe when Tim Bringer did that amazing wall ride tail whip. Is it worth almost maximum points? I think Tim Bringer might know the answer.
Okay, we're waiting for the score here.
He needs 99.4 points to win, almost the maximum.
Oh,
it's 10.
This is insane.
I think we know the answer. The fact the judges are taking their time is interesting because it means...
Here we go. 90. It is not going to be enough. That means Dawid Godziek holds on to second place, and Tim Bringer in the finals skyrockets himself to the top step of the podium.
The most well-deserved win I've seen in a long time. That was perfection from start to finish across 3 unique districts in this brand new location. And Tim Bringer will be crowned the 2026 Red Bull District Ride Champion.
What a day out here in Groningen, Netherlands. The return of Red Bull District Ride. It came down to the wire. That is an understatement. Final runs, and Tim Bringer said it's time to get to work.
In third place, from Poland with a total of 211.9 points, Natalia Niecholi!
Amazing to see her head up to the podium after surviving a massive crash on that front flip.
And she doesn't look the best after that heavy slam in the big air where she went
proper warrior.
Good to see her cruising around.
The front flip. So, once she climbs up
she
there.
looks sore.
Yeah,
you would be if you fall
You think?
face first down a 9-meter landing.
It's a long way down.
Come on, everybody, help her out! Wow! What a striker.
Yep, bruised but not broken. What a gladiator.
That's true superhero, if you ask me. Let's hear it from Natalia Nicholi.
Yeah, bittersweet ending, but a podium at her the first women's district ride.
Okay,
She can even still raise her arms above her head. That's an accomplishment after that slam.
It does still be laying there.
Yeah.
From Germany with a total of 229 points, the youngest competitor of Red Bull District Ride 2026, Johanna Nussbaumer!
Man, the future is bright for her. That represents the future of slopestyle right there.
Great sportsmanship here. Placing the bike, climbing on top, waiting for the trophy that she absolutely deserves. Let's hear it one more time. And the winner of Red Bull District Ride 2026, representing Sweden, Alma Wiggberg! Wow! Een heel groot applaus Groningen voor deze geschiedsschrijvers. Voor het eerst was er een vrouwencompetitie bij Red Bull District Ride. En dat was hier in Groningen in 2026 op de Grote Markt. Mag ik nog één keer een heel groot applaus voor deze dames!
Huge moment for women's slopestyle.
Big time. The tricks we're seeing now out of the women's field, the consistency at which they're performing those tricks. It's going to be exciting to see the next couple big diamond events coming up later this summer.
Okay, as they take one last winning photo here in front of the
The crowd here has been epic. When that venue started filling up earlier on today, me and you were laughing, weren't we, at how engaged they were and just like what this event meant to them in their hometown. It's been sick.
Yep, and not every country do you get reactions like that. This is a unique audience here.
I think, bikes really matter, don't they, here?
Absolutely. They love their bikes. It's not every day they get to see them flipping off of buildings, though.
One of the most interesting slopestyle finals I've ever had the chance to watch, with the format, with the districts, with almost like watching Huppert do the calculations and the maths before hitting that final district. It's not very often you get to like decide how hard you need to push or where you're going to slot in.
Yeah, he goes, what did I have before? What did everybody else get? How much do I need? Okay, I'm going to try to get those hands off.
Yeah, and I've already got 2/3 of my points in the first two districts.
Yep.
Super unique. I love this event.
It was exciting until the very end, but it wasn't over until it was over. From Poland, taking on second, Dawid Godziek!
Solid result from Dawid. I think there'll be some disappointment there. He really wanted the win, and he had everything it took to get the win. But this didn't even feel like a final. It felt like a fight.
For sure.
Him and Tim, they went to battle.
Didn't expect to see Dawid Godziek backed into the corner of that fight by the time we got to the end of the day, though.
Yeah.
Tim and Dawid have definitely been trading blows the past couple seasons, though. A lot of 1s and 2s next to their names, flip-flopping when you look at the rankings.
The winner of Red Bull District Rides 2026.
So impressive.
Representing France, Tobey.
Oh man, he picked up right where he left off. Overall champion from last season, 2025.
Dames en heren.
Missed the first 2 events this year, but this is a huge win.
Podium van Red Bull District Ride 2026 in Groningen. Laat jullie nog 1 keer horen voor deze legendes. Jullie zijn fantastisch.
His smile is like contagious, isn't it?
For sure.